What black community? It's a black environment with black women and black children in it.
We need our weed. I don't wear it, but we need it.
Because there are a lot of people in this country who do not like black women, but black women are the base of the Democratic Party.
But black power starts with black women. It just does.
These angry, mad, opportunistic, lying black women.
A motherfucker just supposed to take and accept whatever the fuck you say because I'm a black woman. Bitch, shut up. The fuck out of here.
JLY. JLY.
Good women are dead. Evil bitches, rise up! JLY.
Listen up, y'all. Early primary voting is happening right now in Texas, and we need Jasmine Crockett to win. She is running for U.S. Senate, and if you want somebody that's going to fight for your right, if you want somebody to fight for your community, if you want somebody that's going to go up there and represent you and represent your issues, please vote for my sister, Jasmine Crockett. Because one thing about it, she's going to fight her best. She's going to fight whoever she has to, so your voice and your problems could be heard. Vote right now. This counts so much. Vote right now.
Trump says he's going to protect women whether they like it or not. Well, if his definition of protection is not the freedom of choice.
Listen up, y'all. Early primary voting is happening right now.
She wants to be a senator, though her street girl persona is about as real as her nails.
The caricature he tried to make of you at this conservative youth conference, I think every Black woman heard what he was trying to say there.
We have a candidate in me who absolutely plans to talk to any and everybody. And that is why they are afraid. The fact that he said I have a quote unquote street girl persona, I'm sorry, but anybody that you talk to knows my credentials. They know that I've gone to school. They know that I'm educated. I never tried to put on some random story about where I came from. But at the end of the day, I am who I am and I am authentic. And that is actually what they are fearful of, is my authenticity, because it rings true with every single American, whether they're a Texan or not. It rings true that I am fighting for real everyday people. And instead of talking about policy, when you're talking about the record speaks for itself, baby, let's talk about your record. Because the only reason you're the vice president is because the current president tried to have his last president killed. Let's talk about qualifications. Let's talk about who has actually been fighting for people way before she ever ran for office, whether it was in the courtroom or if it was in the streets, making sure those that were out there wanting to exercise their constitutional right to come together and protest injustices. I was representing pro bono people that were getting arrested as they were out in the streets. So listen, I don't have time for him and their games. They are scared and they should be scared. I need Texans to focus in. I need them to think about the fact that our two senators literally just voted against extending the Affordable Care Act tax subsidies that would help almost an additional almost 4 million people that are on the marketplace in a state where we have 5 million that are completely uninsured. They basically are trying to put another 4 million people off of their insurance. And this is before we endure the cuts that are coming because of the big ugly bill, where we know 17 million people in this country are going to lose their health care. Listen, I'm staying focus. I'm not going to be distracted. And when they can tell me about their policies that are helping Texans, then we can have a conversation. Until then, take whatever shots you want to take at me, because I have been a Black woman my entire life. I promise you, there are other people just like JD Vance who have tried to do the same racist tropes my entire life. And somehow I ascended and became a U.S. Congresswoman. It will not be different when I become a U.S. Senator. And we can have a conversation when I get to the Senate floor if he wants to talk.
How about this new one they have? Their new star, Crockett. How about her?
She's the new star of the Democrat Party, Jasmine Crockett. They're in big trouble.
But you have this woman, Crockett. She's a very low IQ person.
I watched her speak the other day. She's definitely a low IQ person.
Crockett. Oh, man. Oh, man.
She's a very low IQ person.
Somebody said the other day, she's one of the leaders of the party. I said, you got to be kidding.
Now they're going to rely on Crockett. Crockett's going to bring them back.
You know, I think that's my favorite political ad ever. And the fact that she just got spanked out of her job makes that commercial even more valid. Like, you make the nigga look so bright. Damn, Trump, that was cold. And then, you know what makes that even more perfect? Jasmine Crockett put that ad out herself. she put that ad out of Trump talking crazy about her as if that would make her look good. And obviously she lost the Senate race because Trump is right. She's a very low IQ person. And I think the Democrat Party understood. They quietly shifted away from giving Jasmine Crockett, which of all the Black women who are running for office or in office as Democrats right now, of all the Black women, Jasmine Crockett is the Black womanist. She is the most Black woman of all the Black women out there. And she has somehow become like a champion, like a cheerleader of that model of Black women, that sort of style of like bombastic, aggressive, in your face, neck rolling, you can't tell me nothing type of Black woman. It's like they brought a sort of Aunt Jemima caricature of Black women into modern Democrat politics, and a lot of down the line rank and file Black women, they were totally here for it. They wanted it. Jasmine Crockett was very, very popular with a lot of Black women, all right? Even the fake Black women. Trigger warning.
It's always a twink with a gaping rosebud and a
Even the fake Black women loved her.
microphone that has so much to say. But since we are being funny, since the Boys with Podcast decided to turn a Black woman's Senate run into a punchline, let me return the favor, because it's actually insane. And I'm not talking about quirky insane, not internet cute insane, but structurally violent insane.
Yeah, yes, your gut is not lying to you. There's definitely something wrong with this picture. I'll let you figure out what's wrong with this image on your screen. All I'm saying is the Black women, both real and fake, love Jasmine Crockett. She represented, for some reason, the perfect caricature of the modern Black woman and all of its excesses and extremities.
That Matt Rogers and Bowen Yang thought that it was appropriate to sit on a microphone and tell Black people, or people in general, not to financially support a Black woman who is running for office, not critique her platform, not challenge her record, not debate her policies, just don't give her money. That's not comedy, that's not analysis, that is material attempting to start a Black woman's campaign. And then y'all wrap it up.
You know, that's an interesting question. I wonder what FD Signifier and all the rest of the Black trans community have to say about Jasmine Crockett taking the L.
In this tired, cowardly ass phrase saying that she's too well defined. Well, baby, she's not too well defined. What she is too unignorable, too competent, and too Black in public. She's too woman while being ambitious, too clear.
Bro said she's too woman. She's too woman.
He's saying that she's too well defined. Well, baby, she's not too well defined. What she is too unignorable, too competent, and too Black in public. She's too woman while
She's too woman. The irony. Oh my God. Listen, what I'm realizing in the last, let's just say in the last year, Trump has been hell on the Black female political ecosystem. President Trump is just going from door to door, taking Black female political scalps right now. And Jasmine Crockett is only the latest. Jasmine Crockett is only the latest Black woman to fall on her political sword in the era of Trump. And, oh, you know, that's a great question. I got to see what Roland Martin has to say. I know Ropo went live. He had to go live about this shit. We have to see what Roland Martin has to say about this. But I'm telling you, Jasmine Crockett is only the latest domino to fall. Trump has been ruining Black women's political ecosystem. Honestly, this entire run has been hell on Black women, and Trump has been like very meticulously gutting a lot of the down the line political programs and social policies that actually do help fund and support a lot of these Black women initiatives. And as Trump weakens the Black woman politically, Black men will get a stronger hand in one way or another. Black men's hand will get stronger as Black women get politically weaker. And I'm all for it. Thank you, President Trump, for clearing the runway a little bit. Because I've been noticing that even the liberals, low-key, are starting to get a little bit tired of Black women. Black women have been causing war in their own community, which is the liberal, progressive left wing. And everybody's just starting to hate the image of the modern Black woman.
Just like you, I had no idea who this person was, but apparently she's the most oppressed woman in America. Let me explain. So this is Vogue editor Gabriella Carifa Johnson, who recently stormed out of a first-class cabin on a flight because there were too many middle-aged white men, and she felt that they were racist toward her. You can't make this up. This is an actual headline. Vogue editor flees first class over cabin full of white men. Now, here's her official statement. She said, "I just downgraded myself from first class to business class on my flight to Milan. In a cabin of 6, 5 of the passengers were white, middle-aged men." Sounds like my fantasy. "Then there was me, a 30-something Black woman who travels in that cabin often, and a male flight attendant who thought I'd be okay with substandard service and persistent microaggression from the moment I sat down. He was wrong. I don't suffer fools, and I would sacrifice physical comfort to protect my emotional and mental well-being any day." She was dying to be oppressed, okay? We all know those people who walk around all day just dying to play the victim card. That is Gabriella Carifa Johnson, okay? And her version of roughing it is downgrading from first class to business class. When I fly, I'm in like row 52 next to the bathroom and the screaming kids. She's putting out statements like she's a civil rights icon. Sweetie, I'm sorry you didn't like the first class cabin on your flight to Milan. You're not Rosa Parks, okay? You didn't march on Selma. Maybe you're the Rosa Parks of air travel, but instead you want to go to the back of the vehicle.
Black women have actually lost the gay community. I don't know how this happened. I don't understand everything that's going on right now, but I am reporting to you the aura, the luster, the sheen on Black women is starting to fade. Black women, for the last 15, 20 odd years now, the Democrats and the left-wing political liberal establishment have been using Black women in particular as a type of social battering ram, a sort of constant, they've been using Black women as a type of sword and shield to push forward all manner of debauchery, social programming, political manipulation. They have been hiding behind the big back and broad shoulders of Black women for almost 2 decades now. And I think the movement is starting to run its course. Black women have been finally used up for all that they're worth, and they will be pushed aside momentarily. Black women will start to be pushed away from the front of the Democrat political machine. The age of the tortoise is upon us.
These liberal fashion elites think they're so cool and special. You're a bunch of privileged bitch brats, okay? I'm sorry you didn't like your flight to Milan. The fact that you even put out a statement, it went through that whole rigmarole, is just embarrassing for you. And the fact that you think you're in a position to opine on fashion and what people should wear, utter calamity. Utter calamity. I also don't know what you expected, okay? Only about 13% of the population is Black. So you thought the entire first-class cabin on a flight was going to look exactly like you? I feel like these people are actually the most racist, okay? Reverse racism is still racism. No one had a problem with you being there. Nobody was doing anything aggressive towards you. You just wanted to play the victim card, and you're probably a little unhinged, in my opinion. A hard day's work for her is sitting front row at a fashion show with Zoran Mamdani's wife. I'd love for her to live a day like a working class American. Then she won't be complaining about sitting in first class on her flight to Milan. And that flight attendant who you thought was being micro-aggressive towards you, he was probably just doing his job, okay? He was probably tired, he hadn't slept, but never miss an opportunity to make everything about you. As for you guys, thanks for liking and following. Drop a comment. Tell me how you feel about these rich, spoiled celebrities, especially in the fashion world. What an embarrassment. I will see you on the next one. Bye.
Like I was saying, the age of the Black woman is apparently coming to an end. The left wing will move on to a new mascot shortly. I got my money on the Mexicans. They're going to pick some type of Latina, you know, the AOC crowd, something like that is coming to kind of take
Jasmine Crockett has just taken the stage. Let's go live to that.
If it comes in and I'm losing Dallas County, then we know kind of where this thing is going.
So that's my news, is that we're not going to have election results tonight, in my opinion, based upon what specifically is taking place in Dallas County. Unfortunately, this is what Republicans like to do. And so they specifically targeted Dallas County, and I think we all know why. So I want you to enjoy yourselves, but I won't be back tonight because I have no idea of when we're going to get results, and I fully anticipate it won't be until tomorrow. So I love y'all too. Thank you so very much for being here. Love you down. I love you down, Dallas.
Jasmine Crockett speaking live in Dallas right now. We got to that as soon as we realized she was up at the podium there, but you heard the nut of what she said. She said they are not expecting to have results tonight. She said, this is what Republicans like to do. They specifically targeted Dallas County. She asked her supporters to stay and enjoy themselves, but she did not expect that there would be election results of any definitive sort tonight, specifically because of what's happening in Dallas. Meanwhile, we're going to go back to Rosa Flores, who is in Dallas County right after.
Now, I don't know if you caught that, but Jasmine is blaming the Republicans for rigging her Democrat primary. I didn't realize the Republicans had that much game.
Right after this from Ali Velshi, because while Jasmine Crockett was saying that, we actually did get in a bunch of votes.
Well, a lot of votes. We're now up to 59% in the state, and the lead, Tallarico's lead, has narrowed. It's now 51.8 to 46.9, and a lot of that is because we finally have got some votes in from Dallas, and a lot of them. That vote just dumped 61%. We went from 0 all night to 61%. Jasmine Crockett has got a lead there. It's 60 to 38. It's significant, but this is early vote. This is not day of vote. Obviously, the big issue right now is what that day of vote is going to be. So we're sort of stuck in a lot of places at the 60-ish point. There's some smaller counties that were easy to count, and the numbers are much higher. But generally speaking, in major centers, we're in this area. Look at Travis County, which is Austin. This is 60%. This is Tallarico's home. He's at 76 to Jasmine Crockett's 23. Let's go to Houston, where Jasmine Crockett was expected to do very well with 2/3 of the vote in. Her lead is narrowing, 53.5 to 45 for Tallarico. In Fort Bend, 3/4 of the vote, 77% of the vote is in, 60 to 36. So again, this really is anybody's game right now. This is a jump ball. It is unclear what's going on. Clearly, Jasmine Crockett believes this will not conclude tonight, as she just said, and we may be believing the same thing. I want to just quickly jump over to the Senate contest there, the GOP Senate contest. Again, 43% is where John Cornyn, the incumbent, is at. Ken Paxton is trailing with 40%. He's behind a lot of what just happened in Dallas County for reasons that are not clear. Wesley Hunt is staying at 13%. He's been at 13% all night. I just want to go to Dallas County and show you this. This is the Republican Senate contest in Dallas County. Look how far behind Ken Paxton is. He's involved in these.
Big shout out to my man D. Scott with the $2 super chat. Donald Trump is banging on them lace fronts. Listen, it's not just Donald Trump. I'm telling you, we are entering the post-Black woman political era.
You know what really bothers me about Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett running for Senate in Texas? It's not the fact that she ran this really embarrassing, incredibly narcissistic ad that basically is just about herself, or the fact that Texas very much is still a red state, so it's unlikely that a Democrat is going to win for the Senate there.
A Black woman took another man's derogatory comments of her and then used it to empower her message, flip it for positivity, and you call it narcissistic. There are red states that have Democratic leaders. Georgia just elected a few this past week. So just because it's red doesn't mean Democrats can't win. Continue.
You can cope and seethe about it all you want, but the fact of the matter is, Jasmine Crockett is a very standard conservative corporate Democrat.
Jasmine Crockett is literally one of the most progressive voices we have in Congress right now.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but these are two liberals arguing over Jasmine Crockett, right? This is like the woke left versus the gay left.
She is on boards. She is involved in organizations that talk about moving the country more left and more progressive. But I'm pretty sure you'll back up what you're saying with facts, right? Or are you just ranting? Oh, of course you are. Continue.
She also went on one of those paid pro-Israel trips where they do propaganda with the IOF war criminals. It's actually a video someone compiled 15 minutes straight of her dodging questions about the Israeli regime and refusing to say we should stop funding them. Some people will be quick to point out, well, she doesn't take money from AIPAC. This, absolutely unacceptable. The whole point of criticizing people from taking money from AIPAC is that they're being bribed to support the Israeli regime. Doing it for free doesn't make it any better.
It's no longer a talking point that she doesn't take money from AIPAC. Now it's, well, she's working for them for free. These people, bro, they wonder why we're stuck where we are. They wonder why we can't progress anywhere, because they want Jesus Christ. Here's what's crazy about it. Even if Jesus Christ ran, he would still not be perfect enough. Why is it that Black candidates have to be 110% perfect all the time and not have a single blemish on their record? So you want to nail Jasmine Crockett for going on a trip. You want to nail Jasmine Crockett for not answering an interview question the way you want her to answer it. You want to mislead people to think that she endorses the unaliving of people in Gaza. But you don't want to talk about the fact that she signed onto a bill that sent aid to Gaza. You don't want to give her credit where credit is due. You only want to mislead people into not picking her because you don't deem her worthy of running a state that you don't live in.
You know, one thing I don't think a lot of the Black left and progressives truly understand about the nature of leftism and progressivism. They don't really care about your Blackness the way you care about your Blackness, right? To you, your Blackness is a lifestyle. It's an identity. It's the core center of your being. It's your everything. It's your alpha and omega. But to the left, to the progressives, your Blackness is merely a tool in the toolbox. Your Blackness is just a tactic for promoting and furthering the revolution. And the minute that your Blackness collides with the goals of the revolution, your Blackness doesn't matter as much anymore. And so what I think is happening now is, even among the left, among the progressives, the liberals and whatnot, the pleads and the arguments in support of Blackness are starting to lose weight. Even the gays and the progressive white women are starting to care less about your Blackness. They would rather have a mediocre white man like James Talrico, who could actually win, than to have a Jasmine Crockett, who everybody understands is a losing candidate. And frankly, the irony of Jasmine Crockett losing to a so-called mediocre white man is amazing, honestly. I love the concept of Jasmine Crockett in particular losing to a, quote, mediocre white man, when she had so much to say about mediocre white men at one point in time. It's just like
That's what's happening right now. I am tired of the white tears. Listen, if you are competent, you are not concerned. When I walk into Congress every single day, you know why I don't feel a way and why you can't make me doubt who I am is because I know that I had to work 10 times as hard as they did just to get into the seat. When you look and you compare me to Marjorie Taylor Greene or me to Lauren Boebert, there is no comparison. And that is the life that we have always lived. So the only people that are crying are the mediocre white boys that have been beaten out by people that historically have had to work so much harder. This is why they don't want us to have education. That's what's happening right now. I am tired of the white tears. Listen, if you are competent, You are not concerned. When I walk into Congress every single day, you know why I don't feel a way and why you can't make me doubt.
That whole energy has just been rejected by the political establishment. Liberals in particular do not want to keep pushing along the Jasmine Crockett. They don't want to keep pushing Jasmine Crockett.
I swear some of y'all lack basic comprehension. Bush left some of y'all behind. Some of y'all the reason that Trump won and keep on winning. Some of y'all the reason why the Republicans got the House, the Senate, and the Supreme Court. Just ignorant. Just don't understand the basicness of don't understand nothing, okay? I was not saying that I don't want Jasmine to win. I do. Under any other circumstances, I do. But we have to use strategy. It's about electability. It's about persuading and getting the crossover voters, the swing voters. Jasmine, she energizes the Democratic base. She does. Everybody's excited about her. She a voice for the people. She's who we need in this moment. But she cannot win a statewide Texas race, and that's just the facts. Argue with your mammy. Don't argue with me about the facts and the data, because you will not win. All right? Tomorrow, March the 3rd, is the primary, so we're going to see what it do. But come November, we're going to really see what it do, and I'm going to be right. I know I am. But some of y'all coming on here saying I'm getting paid by who? Who paying me? Like, just because I got a difference of opinion and mine is based in fact and not la la land. Like, y'all ignorant, man. Y'all ignorant. Anyway, I'm not going to let this bother me. I'm about to go back to sleep. I swear some of y'all lack.
I think as a country, something else is happening as well. And I kind of tapped into this vibe when I noticed that whole black men support black women debacle. And it was basically just a front to get black men to support, LGBT stuff and women's reproductive rights. You know what that really means. And so what I noticed, and I made a tweet about this that low-key went viral. And I basically said, straight men being lectured by women who dispose of their children and homosexual men is basically the black community. And what I realized is that as a country, America is becoming tired of being lectured to by women and gays, black women in particular. And so this is kind of my my current political hypothesis. As I said in the beginning of the show, the age of the political black woman is coming to an end. America is just getting tired of these women.
Child, I thought we made this clear, but I guess not, because I don't want to hear a negative damn thing about Fonnie Willis. If you're not this loud about what's happening right now, and let me say this real slow.
Trump destroyed Fonnie Willis, by the way. When you come at the king, you best not miss, y'all. And that's really what happened. Black women, at the behest of the Democrat political machine, they all organized in their little strength, whatever little capacity they could put together. They all attempted to go after Trump in the most vicious ways that they could possibly manage. And now the chickens are coming home to roost.
If you have all the smoke for Fonnie Willis, but somehow you're mute when it comes to this current administration committing egregious acts in real time, now all of a sudden, all the critics are coming out. She's loud, she's ghetto, no decorum. Let me free y'all today. Loud don't mean you lying. Baby, I've seen liars whisper. I've seen liars smile politely, straighten your damn face. And I've seen truth tellers raise their voice, because conviction will do that to you.
Is it just me, or am I getting a crazy eye vibe off this chick right here? I'm definitely picking up on the crazy eye vibe here. Is it just me? Do you guys see the crazy eyes or not?
White men have mastered lying quietly. White women have perfected performative tears. And somehow, some of us have been conditioned to believe that's credibility. Meanwhile, they stabbing us in the back, soft-spoken and smiling. Wig did what Fonnie said he did. He tried to steal the election in Georgia. And now they're mad because a black woman dragged that mess out in the light. She wasn't with the Hush program. And every time.
Is that what you really think happened? I think the total opposite. I think Ruby Freeman and her daughter were leading the charge for election fraud that night 4 years ago in Georgia, roughly 5 years ago, was it?
Time black women do that, baby, here come the rule book, nitpicking our mistakes while skipping the entire cyclopedia of their crimes. And baby, to the black folks in the comment sections, especially the black women, condemning her louder than you condemn wigging them. MAGA, white supremacy, get away from me. I don't care if she ain't perfect. None of it, and I mean none of it, compares to the danger we're watching unfold right now with this current administration. I said this before and I'll say it again. We need more women like Fonnie, Jasmine. We need more men like her too, because between Hakeem and Corey, child, the embarrassment.
And I've been looking at this other issue for a while, right? The Democrats don't even like the men that they do have. There is no real, like, strong, politically viable black male Democrat figure. They can't bet on Cory Booker. I can't even name another black man in the Senate. Who's another black male senator? I don't think there is another one. But they don't really have men that they like. They just have guys. They don't have black male Democrat leaders that they actually believe in, though.
Black women don't need to be quieter. This country needs to be more honest. All right, black people, drink your water. Stay rooted, real, and knowledgeable. And mind your black business. And if you live in Texas, Jasmine Crockett all the way, baby. But if you don't, put some money on her books. Happy Black History 365. And I'll see you next time.
You know who else I feel a little bit disappointment for, I guess you can say? Well, let me put it this way. You know who else is disappointed in this moment right now? And we have to call this out. SKC, I saw you in the chat a lot earlier in the beginning of the show. You were talking about all these Democrat bluey hole niggas who they just love to support and promote the women. They want the women to run shit. And those niggas are suffering the hardest right now. Niggas who believe in female leadership are hiding right now. These niggas have gone to hiding. These niggas are in a bunker. They're in an undisclosed location right now. Where are all the niggas who believe in female leadership right now?
7 black women are running for the United States Senate in 2026. And if even one of them wins, we could witness one of the most historic Senate cycles in U.S. history. So I want to break down who's running and how historic their win could be. First, we go to the state that had the most recent Senate announcement. United States Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett has announced that she's running to fill the seat of current U.S. Senator John Cornyn. She's a civil rights attorney, former Texas state.
Take notice, not all, but most. Not all, but most of the black male support for any black female candidate are the gays. It's almost all gays over there. Like 95% of the black male support for black female candidates are the gays.
That nigga gay, nigga gay, nigga gay, nigga gay, nigga gay, nigga gay.
State House rep and currently serving her second term in Congress. If she wins, she's going to become the first black U.S. senator in Texas history. Next, we go to Illinois, a state that's actually already made history once. Back in 1992, Illinois elected Carol Moseley Braun, the first black woman U.S. senator in U.S. history. Now in 2026, the state has 2 black women running to fill the seat of retiring Senator Dick Durbin, current Lieutenant Governor Juliana Stratton, and current Congresswoman for Illinois' 2nd Congressional District, Robin Kelly. Now, if either one of them wins, they're going to become the first black woman to represent Illinois in the Senate since 1999. Now let's go over to Kentucky, where current State Representative Pamela Stevenson, a retired Air Force colonel and minority leader in the Kentucky House of Representatives, is running to fill the seat of retiring U.S. Senator Mitch McConnell. If she wins, she's going to become Kentucky's first black member of Congress ever. Down in Mississippi, Priscilla Williams-Till is running to fill the seat of current U.S. Senator Cindy Hyde-Smith. Williams-Till is a teacher. She's a social justice activist and the cousin of Emmett Till.
Oh, God, we can't have that. The last thing we need is somebody from the Till family in politics now. You know we'll never hear the end of that fake story.
Mississippi hasn't had a U.S. black senator since Reconstruction. That's the 1870s. I covered it on my page. But they've never elected a black woman senator ever. All right, let's go to Oklahoma, where Nikayla Jasmine Thomas is a nurse and active duty military spouse running to replace current U.S. Senator Marquayne Mullen. If she wins, she's going to be the first black and Native American woman senator in Oklahoma.
Black and Native American. I knew she looked a little too white. You niggas, yo, listen, the word black be putting in so much overtime nowadays. I swear to God. I don't even know what these niggas mean half the time when they say the word black anymore. She looks Hawaiian. She looked like she comes from the Big Island. I'm telling you, in 2026, the word black is putting in double and triple overtime now. They just be using the hell out that word.
History, as well as the first black senator the state has ever elected. And
she looks Kamala black to me. She looks very Kamala black to me. I'm not saying she don't have a black mama or a black daddy. Maybe her daddy married a Native American squaw. I don't know. But I'm just saying, it looks like the word black is doing a lot of work lately.
As well as the first black senator the state has ever elected. And finally, South Carolina, Catherine Fleming Bruce, an author, an activist, and historic preservationalist, is challenging current Senator Lindsey Graham. South Carolina's first black senator is current U.S. Senator Tim Scott, who was appointed to the position in 2013, but the state has never elected a black woman. All the women that I just mentioned are running in the Democratic primaries, and they're going to have to win those primaries before they advance to the general election to run against the Republican. And in all of U.S. history, only 5 black women have ever served in the United States Senate.
You know what? I need to do a head count on those bras. I wonder who won their primaries. But you niggas got to stop believing in black female leadership, bro. It's not helping. I promise it ain't helping.
I'm gonna just be real honest with this. She's a black woman.
Yeah, because they STEM folk, not Kim folk.
I think it goes back to what somebody was saying, where it's not voting for someone, but majority will vote for somebody else just to
Hold on. Let me man this out.
I think majority
is it only because she a black woman.
Yeah.
Do you not see how that's a bad idea?
Elaborate.
Okay, so we're in 3 proxy wars with some of the most powerful leaders in the world. She failed at the border, in which we have an estimation of 15 to 20 million people illegally into this country. That is literally overtaking and bankrupting Chicago to the tune of over $400 million per year, and they are in a deficit. Oakland is going out of business. San Francisco, ditto. California, $65 billion deficit. New York, they're literally cutting trash, in which they are the rattiest, dirtiest city, and they've taken up resources as far as free healthcare, free hotels to the tune of $600 a day. They're literally taking over your schools. Your taxpayer dollars are going to fund the migrant crisis. She was supposed to be in charge of this. We have a failing economy. Every single day I see people getting on the internet talking about $30 an hour is the new minimum wage because inflation is fucking out of control. At one point, it was at almost 10%, depending on what city that you in. She has no policy, no record to stand on. One of the biggest things that she did in her career was lock up more black men than ever before. But we sitting here and vote her in office on identity politics. The very person that she was under as far as the president of the United States of America, she called him racist during the debate, which shows you how fake she is. And the only thing that we can stand on from a policy perspective is whether or not she's black and she's a woman. We did that during the Obama administration, and he didn't do anything for black people. As a matter of fact, y'all complain because the only person that he did, or the only group of people that he really stood for is the alphabet community, and that's his landmark thing that he's still standing on today. So the only thing that we have to stand on is identity politics. That shit didn't work with Tiffany Henyard in Dalton, Illinois. It didn't work with Karen Bass. It didn't work with Lori Lightfoot in Chicago. It didn't work with Brandon Johnson that then took over her position in Chicago. It didn't work with Andre Dickens in Atlanta. It didn't work with Eric Adams in New York. It doesn't work across the country. Every single Democratic city is a hellhole. And we sitting here talking about identity politics?
It's hard to get them to understand, though. It really is difficult. A lot of people just try their best to not understand. But for a long time, though, Jasmine Crockett has just been, exciting the crowd. All that ghetto, sister girl, ratchet energy. Black women liked seeing themselves represented in the halls of Congress.
You just voted to do
Y'all did it first, so you
Order.
I'm
trying to get clarification.
Look at, calm down.
No, because this is what y'all do. So I'm trying to get
Ms.
clarification.
Crockett, you're not recognized. Ms.
I can't hear
Crockett.
you with your yelling.
Don't want
calm
me to
down.
No,
Can you please calm
don't
down.
tell me to calm down.
Calm down.
Because y'all
Please
talk
calm
noise,
down.
and then
You're out of control.
Because if I
Look, Chairman,
if I
can
come
we
and
send
talk
outside to
shit
take a
about
break
her,
for 5
y'all
minutes?
gonna have a problem.
Mr.
Order.
Chairman.
All right, Chair.
I don't know why
Okay.
you're
Order.
acting
Chair
like
now
that.
recognizes
Not cute.
Ms. Green.
Black women saw this exchange and they said, "Ooh, she just like me." Literally, a lot of black women looked at this, just the rank and file average, work every day, got to pay my bills every month. Black women, they saw this and they said, "Oh, she just like me." And the majority of the support that Jasmine Crockett has comes from that sentiment of she's authentically ghetto. She's the type of black that, we ride the bus, we go to the club together. She gonna be my homegirl and fight these other bitches at the club for me together. Like, she's a certain type of, she projects anyway, a certain type of black girl image, which this is the major criticism of her. You are not that type of woman. You are just playing into the caricature because it buys you loyalty from your voter base.
For 4 minutes and 21 seconds. 4 minutes. Let Ms. Green talk, and then I'll recognize.
But I moved to strike her words for a second time based on her second set of personal remarks attacking another member.
Who? Chairman Comer.
Because you all cannot
I have an
seem
amendment at
to
the desk,
apply
and this
the rules
sideshow
of the
needs to
committee.
stop.
We have to do this every time.
Hey, I'm recognized. I'm recognized. I'm going to go ahead and start talking.
Look, I know. Look, I don't know if you noticed it. I have 2 hearing aids. I'm very deaf. I'm not understanding. Everybody's yelling. I'm doing the best I can. Can we not recognize Ms. Green and let her
We
get?
cannot because of the rules of the committee, Mr. Chair. That is what I'm trying to communicate in the present moment.
We have a okay, what's the motion? What's
The motion.
So that was a big day for Jasmine. But, last night was a big day for her too, and it went very, very differently.
I've got people that are sending me emails. I have video recordings of voters that are crying and hurt. None of this should have happened. Let's talk about the many failures. Let's talk about what was intentional. Number one, the Republicans only did this to intentionally
disenfranchise, and confuse voters. That is number one. But number two, while many people were showing up to the polling locations, they were told things such as, you can't provide a provisional ballot. Now that is exactly when you would provide a provisional ballot. If you were saying, this is my polling location, and they're saying, no, it's not, you should, at a very minimum, be able to cast a provisional ballot. We've heard countless stories of people being told you can't. Then we hear stories of people saying, we're trying to go to DallasCountyVotes.org, and the website keeps crashing. Then we're hearing stories of, if the website is up, it's giving us the wrong location to go to. So thank you to Carval Coleman, who is the chair of the Democratic Party in Dallas County, because he, along with myself, Colin Allred, we all understood what should happen next, which was litigation. And so we were prepared and we were about to file when we received word that an order had been signed by Judge Stacey Williams. Judge Williams signed off on that order for Dallas County, but I want to be clear about this as someone who is running statewide, and frankly, as someone who is concerned that this will become the norm for the Republicans as they are understanding that Democrats are fed up right now, and right now Democrats are outvoting Republicans.
So clearly, Jasmine thinks that the game was rigged. You notice how when Trump said the elections were rigged, they started banning people from social media. You got fired from your job and stuff like that if you start talking too crazy about the elections being rigged. But now Jasmine Crockett loses and she immediately says, oh, the Republicans rigged it. I think we're going to just settle on how do we resolve this? We're going to resolve this with a good old-fashioned hose mad, y'all.
Hose mad, hose mad, hose mad, hose mad, hose mad, hose mad.
This is about targeting women of color in the United States of America. Don't tell me, because I didn't get a single apology.
Time has expired.
My life was threatened. Thank you.
Hose mad, hose mad, hose mad, hose mad, hose mad, hose mad, hose mad.
Oh, and shout out to the First Lady of the Church, Miss Cantrell, with the $4.99. She says, I asked ChatGPT to make up a few new words for me: oppression, dysphoria, and chromatocentrism. I'm going to start using these. I think the church needs to start using these words, especially oppression, dysphoria. I like the idea of oppression, dysphoria. It gives transgender for some reason. I can't really make the intellectual, I can't connect the dots intellectually just yet, but oppression, dysphoria, something about it gives trans to me. And I think you're on to something. I think you're on to something. These niggas are mentally disturbed, much like the transgender community. But I got to think on this to properly connect the dots. But I like these additions to the syntax over here. We have to expand our syntax over here. Chromatocentrism is pretty straightforward. You know, you're color focused, basically. You're color oriented. But oppression, dysphoria sounds very, very interesting. I love that. Shout out to Ms. Cantrell with the $4.99.
I need that money.
Hose mad, hose mad, hose mad, hose mad, hose mad, hose mad.
This is about targeting women of color in the United States of America. Don't tell me, because I didn't get a single apology.
Time has expired.
My life was threatened. Thank you.
Hose mad, hose mad, hose mad, hose mad, hose mad, hose mad, hose mad.
Townsend, you have been all over this in terms of anticipating some of these problems in these specific counties. What do you understand about the way this has played out over the course of the night? And
you know what, Dylan, before we even watch this clip, Dylan James says, look up communal narcissism. It's the sisterhood. You know, it's funny you say that. I recently came across some interesting psychological information Let me see if I can pull this up for you guys. But I've recently had some of my lifetime observations reinforced by a particular level of psychological evaluation. Like the doctors are now confirming what I've long suspected about the overall psychological makeup of a lot of the community. And basically what we've learned, what the doctors have reported back, is that rates of narcissistic personality disorders are actually much higher in das community than any other group that was measured, like significantly. Let me see, where did I put that? I think I retweeted that out somewhere. But there was a chart that I just came across recently, and I think SKC was on Twitter with me. Here it is. There are racial disparities in the prevalence of narcissistic personality disorder. Now, let's just go to the column that says all and just go down the racial lines. Let's start at the bottom. White, 5%. Asian, 5.4%. Native, 7.1%. Hispanic, 7.5%. Black, 12.5%. It's nearly double all of the other groupings. The rates of narcissistic personality disorder are almost double in the community.
I'm telling you, man, this the reason why I be hating niggas, man. I'm telling you, man. It just be us. I be hating niggas, man.
Reaction to what's happened with the Texas courts.
So I talked to a number of people on the ground from the Texas Democratic Party because, again, the parties are the administrators of the elections in a primary. This does not apply for the general. So in the general, the state is in charge of the election. So if people think, oh, are we going to have this particular issue come November? No, could be a different issue, but not this one. Lawrence and I were chatting in the green room, and
wait. Said, what did I just miss here? Who's in charge?
Is in charge of the elections in a primary. Texas Democratic Party, because again, we've talked to a number of people on the ground from the Texas Democratic Party, because again, the parties are the administrators of the elections in a primary. This is
so Jasmine Crockett accused the Republicans of rigging a Democrat primary where the Democrats are completely in charge of their own election mechanisms, right? Like I said, I didn't realize the Republicans had that much juice.
Not apply for the general. So in the general, the state is in charge of the election. So if people think, oh, are we going to have this particular issue come November? No, could be a different issue, but not this one. Lawrence and I were chatting in the green room, and he said, does this also affect the Republicans? I thought it was a very good question. I asked the chair of the Texas Democratic Party, and the chair said it is their understanding that the judge's order is specific to the Democratic primary because, again, they didn't do a joint primary. So it is only the Democratic votes in Dallas County. The particular law that is being cited, Texas Democrats at large, they, if we look at the lawsuit that was filed by the Dallas County Democrats, not the Texas Democratic Party. I say that because there are factions within the Texas Democratic Party that say, Texas law is very, very strict. And it's very strict about when people can vote. Texas law, a law from 1985, says that the voting in Texas is from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. There's only been one time in our recent history since that law it's 40 years. Law is older than me. It's only been one time in our history, in May of 2024, that an extension has been given, and that was very specific. In Dallas County, a judge said there was a disaster because power was out in polling places in May of 2024. And because the power was out in about 100 polling places, they needed to extend the voting in those polling places. And that voting was extended for that very particular reason. But tonight, what we are seeing, to the conversation you all were having earlier, is the first time that this 1985 law has been challenged directly in this way. And yes, it is the Ken Paxton, who is a candidate on the ballot. Again, this doesn't affect them. It's just about the Democrats. They are weaponizing a law that has been on the books for 40 years to throw chaos into what is happening in the Democratic Party. The last point I'll make is this.
So the Republicans are weaponizing long-standing law. This has been the law for 40 plus years now, and suddenly you guys don't know how to figure it out?
There are a lot of votes out there. No one's going to count their chickens before they hatch, or their eggs, if you will. We have not heard from I've reached out to people within the Tallarico campaign. They are.
Bald bitch don't know the chicken and the egg joke. You would think bald-headed bitches know egg jokes, but anyway.
There are a lot of votes out there. No one's going to count their chickens before they hatch, or their eggs, if you will. We have not heard from I've reached out to people within the Tallarico campaign. They are not saying whether or not yet they are of the belief that Jasmine Crockett is, that we will not know tonight. They are reserving their comment. So if they have some comment, I'll come back. I know Eugene is also talking to them. But I think that we are in a place now where come tomorrow, there'll be some people that'll say, Jasmine Crockett lost this race because of what Republicans did. And then there'll be some people that say, oh, I think she just lost this race because she didn't run a good campaign.
Nope, she lost this race because she's a big mouth black woman, and we're just kind of getting over that. Simone, you're going to be out of here soon, too. I hope you know. Your bald head and your broad shoulders have offended us on TV for far too long, and your days are numbered.
Either way, the narrative on this is now up in the air because of what the Republican in Texas decided to do to play in the race.
I was going to say that to me is the most important part of this. I don't want to get lost in the weeds here, people. I really don't. This is an orchestra.
Well, listen, shout out to the Republicans for ruining the Democrat Texas primary. I mean, is that supposed to be a bad thing for the Republicans that you're all over there like, oh my God, they mixed it up. We don't know what to do. This is good. That finally the Republicans know how to play dirty.
Orchestrated, coordinated effort, period. It has been from the very beginning.
I just want to know, but it is the law. That is the point I want to make here. It is the law.
It is the law. But we've already seen now in Texas and across this country how the law can be weaponized and used to full effect when you want to move the needle in a certain direction, if you want to stop something. And so
it's like these niggas just discovered law. It's like they just discovered the very concept of law last night as Jasmine Crockett was losing. They were going through books that they never opened before.
I just find it, why does Paxton care whether or not Democrats, given the confusion that was wrought in this situation, want to vote for an extra 2 hours? Doesn't change his numbers, right? Doesn't change what's happening on the Republican side. So what do you care for? It's not about what we're standing up for the law. Well, you're reaching back 40 years plus to stand up for a law that no one's had to invoke before. So, I just think we need to understand.
Nigga, how old is the Constitution? Don't tell me about reaching back 40 years for a law. Our entire governing system is based on law that's 200 years old. What was 1776, right? And he's crying about 40 years.
What's going on here, very much to what Stephanie was saying before, and what a lot of us who've been working in this space and hearing on the ground, that all of these things are storylines that are being created that will be used later on. Mm-hmm. And we just need to understand how they're going to be used now, so we recognize it when they're used later.
There is one other element of what's going on here. It's being reported out by the Dallas Morning News that some of the confusion, some of the chaos, some of voters being told to go the wrong place may be the fault, or may be attributable to the fact that Texas Republicans just changed all their congressional district boundaries right before this election, and they maybe didn't follow through on all the logistical work you need to do to make sure that people still get to vote in the right place after you've done that.
They literally redrew the district map, because that's what happens. That's what redistricting is. Which means as the Democrat Party, it is completely your interest to get all of that information out to your voters about where to show up, when to show up, and how to show up. Skills issue. I'm calling it a skills issue.
More reporting on that.
We are experiencing technical difficulties.
Jasmine Crockett just lost.
The Democratic Party let it happen. Now, let me tell you the truth that you won't hear on CNN. My name is Tim Black. Welcome to the Tim Black Show. So Jasmine Crockett was in a competitive primary against James Tallarico.
We should all be standing together, Democrats, Republicans, and we should all be raising hell. But unfortunately, this was always the plan.
She was out to a big lead in the very beginning. Back in December when she launched, she was killing it. There was no sign of James Tallarico. In fact, I'd say 90% of America had no idea who James Tallarico was. And that, sir, is not an understatement.
Shout out to mediocre white boys. All that shit you talk, Jasmine, and you got crushed, you got hoodwinked, you got bamboozled by the mediocre white boys that you said you were so much better than. Look at him. He doesn't even look remarkable. I bet he used to get shoved in the lockers and get his head dunked in the toilet bowl back in the day.
Fam, nobody knew this guy. But people in Texas, they warmed up to him. Why? Because he was soft-spoken, easy to get along with. He seemed less divisive.
Oh, you just voted to do it.
Y'all did it first, so you don't want to talk about it.
Voted to do it.
Order. I'm trying to get clarification.
Look at, calm down. Calm
No,
down.
no, because this
I
is
would
what
like
y'all
to get
do.
through proceeding.
So I'm trying to get
Miss
clarification.
Crockett, you're not
Y'all wanna
recognized.
play
Miss
games?
I can't hear
Crockett.
you with your
And
yelling.
You don't want
Calm
me to
down.
Be,
Can you please calm
don't
down?
tell me to calm down.
Calm down.
Because y'all
Please
talk
calm
noise
down.
and then
You're
can't
out of
take
control.
And that's really what this came down to. See, what they won't tell you on CNN is that besides being a star, being up against Trump, being a celebrity a political celebrity, roasting people, and what have you, Jasmine Crockett did not have a lot of advantages. How'd she go from being up maybe 20 points to losing by 10? Jasmine Crockett would like to tell you that it was race. Well, in this race, it was more to it than just race. Maybe it was the fact that Jasmine Crockett was outspent 5-1. And that may work in a district race. Maybe you can work around it. You can do your town halls and knock on a bunch of doors. But see, in a state as big as Texas, that dog won't hunt. So she was outspent 5-1. And we're talking about they gave Tallarico the ability to put ads up, to get in TV ads, do a lot of TV ads early on. In fact, Jasmine Crockett didn't start putting up TV ads to the very end. That was probably due to money, because TV ads cost a lot of money, and when you got 5 times more money, well, obviously you can run 5 times more ads. Tallarico wasn't endorsed by Cardi B.
Listen up, y'all. Early primary voting is happening right now in Texas, and we need Jasmine Crockett to win. She is running for U.S. Senate, and if you want somebody that's going to fight for your right, if you want somebody to fight for your community, if you want somebody that's going to go up there and represent you and represent your issues.
And even Kamala Harris came out in support of Jasmine Crockett. So damn, Tim Black is giving me all these reasons. 90% of races are won by money. Whoever has the most money wins the race. Has nothing to do with race, has to do with money. Of course, race is a factor, gender is a factor. Hell, what kind of weather there is the day of voting day is a factor. If it rains, it's a factor.
You know, something else I was thinking about watching this commentary here, and this is just a sign of the times. It's just a new trend that we're all living through right now. But the podcast world has been hell on the Democrat political machine. The Democrats, they're used to owning the media. The Democrats are used to having solidified messaging from the media on their behalf. And with the podcast world in particular, what you have now is a bunch of Democrats who really can't thrive in the new media realm the way they wanted to. And so what we really created over the last 10, 15 odd years is a strong, dissident, non-Democrat media environment where not a lot of black men are openly Republican, but they're disgruntled Democrats. They are openly in revolt from the Democrat Party. And I think that too has kind of thrown a monkey wrench and the plan to continuously promote Black women and use Black women as both a sword and shield for whatever issue. Because what's happening is the continued usage of Black women and the constant promotion of Black women and all of their issues and beliefs, it's actually created a rift in the Black community where we have this full-blown gender war that's raging online. And a lot of that is threatening the overall political relevancy of the Black woman as a political phenomenon.
It's a fact if your dog dies, or if you run out of gas in your car. But money always plays a factor. Number 2, fam. Jasmine Crockett got a lot of Black voters, and she was focused on getting the Blacks to the yard. A lot of Black Americans came out and supported Jasmine Crockett. In fact, 87% of Black Americans voted for Jasmine Crockett. Thing is, it just wasn't enough. It's not enough Black Americans in Texas to help you beat against James Talarico if he gets white voters and Hispanic voters and 13% of Black voters.
Liberal white people voted over a white man. I mean, they voted for a white man over a Black woman. I need you to understand the socio-political significance of that. That is literally bucking a trend that we've been running against for the last 20 years. White men were the bad guys in all of the Democrats' fantasies, right? White men have been, and particularly on a tirade, on a campaign against white men in particular. And so for the Democrats to look at the landscape, read the tea leaves, and say, you know what, it's time to back the white boy. The Black woman needs to sit down. The ground has just shifted.
Well, that's a coalition that they didn't even think was possible. A coalition of voters that may pull some moderate Republicans. That's supposed to be dead and stinking in the Democratic Party. So outspent with money, broader coalition. Those are two things that are very relevant, have nothing to do with whether you like Jasmine Crockett or not. But it's more than that. I'm telling you, folks, there's more reasons why Jasmine Crockett lost. And these are things that were controllable for her. You may not be able to control how much money you have. You may not be able to control if you're running against a white pastor, seminary. You might not be able to control that, but you can't control the fact you don't have a campaign manager. Jasmine Crockett did not have a campaign manager. She was not running a very organized campaign. And at the end of the day, a state as big as Texas, you need infrastructure. You need things in place. You can't run this willy-nilly based on your feels.
Well, not only that, but Jasmine Crockett was insulting the entire state of Texas, calling everybody racist and whatnot. Like, there's only so far that can get you. Within the context of just the Democrat primary, and if you're only running for like a really localized district, like that's how the House of Representatives works. Like they have actual districts, so you can kind of gauge what it is for just that group of people and target them exactly. But then when you go national, I mean, when you go statewide, especially in a state like Texas, where there probably are a lot of white folk who don't really appreciate you insulting their whiteness, right? It might not play out the way you like it to play. And so she really did insult a lot of her voter base, and you're not going to just recover from that easily.
You need somebody who's done it before, who knows what they're doing, and how to build this apparatus that you're going to need to beat a statewide race. Jasmine Crockett was relying on making Black people feel like they have to come out and vote for her, celebrity endorsements, how big her social media following was, and race and gender, identity politics. Jasmine Crockett's making decisions in her campaign solely up to her. And let's face it, Johnson, if you're the decider in chief on everything in your campaign, and even if people disagree with your tactics, are they going to be able to tell you you're the candidate and the decider? Now you're going to end up with a bunch of yes people around you. Even when you're making a dumb call, they're going to go with you. Why? Because they want to stay employed. They don't want their...
And I'm I want to look at something else. Like I said, a lot of these online voices have really been hell on the Democrat Party. These quote podcasters and this new non-mainstream media. We're like below the mainstream here, but the new media has been hell on the Democrats in particular. And so when you get somebody like Jasmine Crockett, and then the new media takes a deeper look at her, it all starts to fall apart. Shout out to Benny Johnson for actually tracking down the real Crockett. Hit that like for me, guys. We're going to take a look at the real Crockett. Most people haven't seen the real Crockett yet.
Yo, what's up, guys? We are in Dallas, Texas today in the heart of Jasmine Crockett's district. It is rough. It is tough. It is hood and it is foul, just like Jasmine Crockett. That's the whole persona, right? Tough talking, street fighting girl from the ghetto. That's Jasmine Crockett's entire aura, the attitude.
Looks like in the shitter to me.
The volume.
Don't tell me to calm down.
Calm down.
Because y'all talk
Calm
noise
down.
and then you're
out of control.
The voice.
The congressional seat is over 4 times as large as my house seat.
I'm trying to get clarification.
But there's a little problem with Jasmine. It's all a lie. She's code switching. She's a fraud, and we can prove it today. This is where Jasmine says she's from, but this is where Jasmine's really from. Welcome to St. Louis, Missouri, Jasmine Crockett's hometown. But let me show you where Jasmine Crockett's really from.
Welcome to St. Louis, specifically the Republican suburbs of St. Louis, with the mansions, country clubs, and private schools. This is where Jasmine Crockett was raised. We're talking quiet suburbs, manicured lawns, college brochures in the mailbox, and neighbors who wave when they mow the lawn.
This is where Jasmine Crockett went to school. It's called the Mary Institute and St. Louis Country Day School. It's one of the most prestigious institutions in the entire country, also one of the most expensive. Check this out. This isn't just a good school. This is the #1 school in the entire state of Missouri. It costs $35,000 per year to attend high school here. And the reason why.
Yeah, shout out to our family business in the chat. He says, I told you, white folks ain't playing games with y'all no more. Listen, man, your oppression hustle is coming to an end. We are tired of being lectured to by privileged kids. The children of rich people who have lived a pampered life. You know, everything I was saying about Black Hollywood yesterday, you can kind of apply that to Jasmine Crockett here. You are privileged, spoiled. Your life was handed to you way before you had to put any real work in. And now you're going to get up here on the microphone and tell everybody else how hard it is to be you. Nobody want to hear that shit no more. Ain't nobody trying to listen to your pampered privilege oppression, tales of wealthy struggle and shit. Bitch, shut the fuck up.
How do it equivalate?
A motherfucker just supposed to take and accept whatever the fuck you say because I'm a black woman. Bitch, shut up. The fuck out of here.
Is because the average test scores here guarantee your placement in an elite college institution. It's one of the best preparatory schools in the world. The average SAT score here is 1350, and the average ACT score here is 30. This is an elite institution. Did your high school have its own private Wimbledon?
Oh, wow. That's crazy. El Cid says, you know she was getting smashed by all the white boys. What if that's actually the opposite of the truth? What if that's actually not the truth, Sid? Because I've been noticing this about Black women in particular. Black women, especially the ones who've made it into the whole PWI world, the predominantly white institutions, they have felt a particular sting in not being as sexually desirable as the white women in those worlds. And so I have come to suspect that so much of Black politics is motivated by Black women feeling rejected and undesired by white men. I don't think the white boys was hitting that as hard as she wanted him to. I don't think she got the white boy love that she really wanted in her younger days, which is a whole other drama.
Hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad.
This is about targeting women of color in the United States of America. Don't tell me because I didn't get a single apology.
Time has expired.
My life was threatened. Thank you.
Hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad.
How large was your high school's lacrosse field? This lacrosse field is expensive. Did your high school have its own aquatic center on site? Can Jasmine Crockett swim? She has no excuse because she went here. This is where Jasmine learned to play clarinet by the apple tree on this beautiful campus of the Mary Institute, St. Louis Country Day School. Did your high school have its own private dock and pond teeming with colorful fish and wildlife? I think not. Neither did mine. Because we're poor. But Jasmine is elite. After graduating from this elite country day school, Jasmine Crockett was immediately accepted at another elite institution, Rhodes College in Tennessee.
Rhodes College is a private liberal arts school that looks like Hogwarts and costs a whopping $74,000 per year. That makes Rhodes one of the most expensive colleges in America. There are only 2,000 students enrolled at this institution, nestled in the rolling leafy hills of Old Memphis, and Jasmine, from the block, is one of them. But the elitism did not end there. Jasmine went on to attend and graduate from the University of Houston Law Center, where tuition runs a whopping $40,000 per year. In total, Jasmine Crockett's elite education cost close to $1 million just to talk like this on national TV.
Donald Trump is a piece of shit. Okay, we know that.
$1 million just to talk like a raggedy bitch. Oh my God.
But
you know what's so funny about this? This is something else I realized about the culture. $1 million just to talk like that. And I realized this is something I kind of noticed about rappers. And I'm talking specifically about rappers right now. But maybe Jasmine Crockett falls into that category too. You niggas make being rich look weird. You make being rich look awful. Like, what was the point of having all this money and still being a bum ass nigga? Like, you niggas make being a millionaire look tragic. Like, goddamn. We're supposed to want to aspire to greatness, not aspire to ratchetness. Like, what's the point of having all this and acting so raggedy? I just don't get it. Maybe there's something wrong with me. I don't know. But I have a hard time with that shit. I do. I really do. I thought having wealth and having access to all the finer things in life maybe sort of kind of meant you could be classy. Not will be, but could be. And you niggas just refuse. You just refuse to be classy. Goddamn, shit bothers the hell out of me. I swear to God.
functioning democracy.
Tisk, tisk. What would Jasmine's English instructors here think of her now? Ah, how time goes by. I forgot. Jasmine Crockett didn't always used to talk like a hood rat. For most of her life, Jasmine talked like this.
I just got to Austin, and I had to meet 5 people to get here.
After graduating law school, Jasmine went on to start her own law firm. She got elected immediately to the Texas State House and then moved swiftly to the U.S. Congress with the help of just a few foreign billionaires along the way. And now she's polling for president in 2028. If anything, Jasmine Crockett's life story is not a condemnation of systemic racism in America, but the true definition of obscene American privilege, that anyone from anywhere can be and do anything. This isn't started from the bottom, now we're here. This is started from the Neighborhood Watch, and now we're in the HOA.
Jasmine Crockett is the child of Black privilege, and she refuses to acknowledge it. She is a privileged Black woman who comes from hardworking, wealthier people. Like, her family earned money, and she's the beneficiary of that. She's the beneficiary of her family's, her mother and her father, putting in the work and making good decisions. And now she wants to tell you that America is an awful place, hard on women like her, when she's literally women like her. And Carmen, I think you're right. She hates her elitist origins. She can't be wealthy, happy, successful, and a Black woman. You have to be a victim in some type of way. Otherwise, your Black womanness comes into question, which is why your concept of oppression dysphoria is actually spot on. It is a mental illness. Remember when I said these niggas have a fetish? We were talking about like 50 Shades of Grey and how like a lot of these Black people have an oppression fetish. I think we're in the same territory now. Much in the same way the transgenders have a fetish for women's lingerie. A lot of these Black people, they have a weird fetish for being oppressed. And when they don't grow up with the scars of oppression, they will create scars and then show them to you.
Here's what your average street looks like in South Dallas, where Jasmine Crockett represents.
The best part about Jasmine Crockett's district is free public bathrooms. Think about it. That's where your tax dollars are going. Man, someone was having a cookout right here. Pan and the charcoals are ready to go. Jasmine, why did you invite us to the cookout? Look, there's the pans. And here's the rest of the cookout right here.
And here's what your average street looks like in St. Louis, in the suburbs where Jasmine Crockett's from.
So Jasmine Crockett's district is full of poor niggas who have cookouts on the corner. Which, by the way, I've had a cookout on the corner. I won't deny. We had good times. Many a good time was had on the corner with a grill. Jasmine Crockett really wants to represent the ghetto she never grew up in. It's fascinating.
Here's what a school looks like in South Dallas.
Here's an elementary school in the heart of Jasmine Crockett's district. Let's go ahead and check on the environment in which these kids are learning. You have burned down buildings in every direction. Nothing's open. FDJT has been tagged on this building. Everything is just blight. Everything is been destroyed. Empty booze bottles sitting in the parking lot. Did Jasmine Crockett write FDJT? Maybe that's her contribution here. Decline is a choice. None of those businesses are open. All of them have been shuttered and burned to the ground. This is where the students are learning. It's bad. So that's the big school in Jasmine Crockett's district.
So she has to be the champion of these people, even though she actually does not know what it's like to be one of these people. You remember, well, I think it was Boys in the Hood. At the very end, Ice Cube gave that infamous line, if you ain't from the ghetto, and stay out of the ghetto because you wouldn't understand the ghetto. That is Jasmine Crockett.
District, you can see the playground and everything like that. There are kids playing on it. Here's the walkway to school in Crockett's district. This is what the children have to walk through every single day. I don't know how many booze bottles there are, how many beer cans, and how much junk.
No, American man, I was not on Myrtle and Carlton. I was on Johnson Street. I'm on the first side, bro. Myrtle and Carlton is on the other side. I don't really fuck with the far side like that. I'm valid everywhere, but I don't set up over there. I'm on the first side, bro. We on Myrtle and Johnson. My grill was on Prince and Johnson, bro. If you know, you know.
Just a reminder that it's people who represent districts like these that want to bring you the Green New Deal. They're the ones who call themselves environmentalists. Remember that.
And here's what a school looks like in St. Louis. Here's what a sidewalk looks like in South Dallas.
Damn, you know, I just realized I said that wrong. It was Myrtle and Prince, actually. But anyway, American Man knows what I'm talking about.
And here's what a sidewalk looks like in St. Louis. And here's what stores and shopping centers look like in South Dallas.
Never seen so many downed power lines in my life. It's like the broken windows theory. When you let one window get broken, you're going to let every window get broken because criminals think that they can get away with it. And Jasmine Crockett and people who represent her ideology have gotten away with destroying South Dallas. Look at this once thriving business, this once thriving area. And this is every single business that we see in the district. It's all about.
I ain't gonna lie, this is like a majority of the black districts across the country. Like I think most black people can relate to this kind of sentiment. And especially like as a kid, I didn't really feel it because like I just didn't understand enough about the world when I was really young. So like as a kid, I would leave because like I was like a military brat. You know, my mom married somebody in the army. So I got to travel. I got to see the country. I got to live the middle class life to a large degree. So I would go back to Brooklyn or whatever and learn about the ghetto and all that shit. And it wasn't even until I got, into my teenage years that I was really, really in the ghetto, in the hood like that. But now as a full-grown man, and I've kind of, pulled myself away from all that sort of gravity, that gravitational pull of poverty, right? When you go back around an old neighborhood, there's a tiny feeling of depression that the old neighborhood gives you. Anybody who's actually managed to make it out of their old neighborhood, whenever you go back home, it's hard to feel good about that place. This is why I'm really fascinated about when a lot of black folk, especially now that I'm older and allegedly wiser and more mature, theoretically, the way niggas cling to their hood. Like you see the way me and American Man, we were just talking about a neighborhood in Brooklyn or whatever. And I don't necessarily like, quote, rep that shit. Like it's such a, like it's a huge core part of my identity. Because in a lot of ways, I come from a place where dreams go to die. And I don't necessarily want to celebrate that shit like it's such a great thing, because most of us who've actually made it out the hood, it's not really a place we want to go back to and be all the time. It's nice to visit, but I'm not trying to live amongst you niggas no more. Never, ever again do I want to live that close to you niggas anymore. I just do. It's rough there, man. It's rough there.
What's wrong with you? What's wrong with y'all? You niggas are crazy!
Bombed out ruin of itself. It's a total collapsed society. What happened here? Well, it's pretty obvious. The progressive politics of Jasmine Crockett, single party rule that has decided to vote against commerce, against the free market, and against safety for the people here.
All right. God of the Sea says I need to go do some windsurfing. I don't think windsurfing is an activity they offered at the local YMCA, bro. They didn't teach us how to windsurf, You either you're slinging crack rock or you got a wicked jump shot. And I was tall, but I couldn't ball.
It's pretty sad that kids have to grow up like this we're hoping for better. We're hoping the kids in Jasmine's district get to grow up like her someday, right? Texas has one of the most booming economies in the entire country. It has a bigger GDP than most countries on earth. Yet in Jasmine Crockett's district, you can find homeless encampments right here behind us. A sad story about how this district's managed. So we're gonna go now because the homeless guy just came tearing off after us in here. It's dangerous, dangerous district.
And here's
Benny,
what stores.
that's community policing, all right? You're just like a suburban white guy. You can't properly understand what's happening in that ghetto. That was community policing. Don't you remember during the Floyd era? They said we should defund the police and let the niggas police ourselves, right? That's what everybody asked for during the Floyd era. And that's what you just got. You just got some community policing, bro. Good old-fashioned community police. Shout out to my man, the Kuna Coons, with the $10. If you want the real truth, Hood, these black women are like athletes. They got passed along for substandard work. Then when facing steep competition, they fall back on racism to explain why they can't compete. I think that is very accurate, especially when you're talking about Jasmine Crockett. She basically blamed her loss on, you know, the racist Republicans pulling shenanigans and whatnot. And I think that's really, really what's happening here, which is also why I say that the black women are going to start to be pulled back from the front of the Democrat ticket. The Democrats really do need a better mascot because they realize they've pushed the black woman thing as far as they can get it now. They're at the point of diminishing returns. And I think Jasmine Crockett is a great sign of that. We are really at the point of diminishing returns with the black female political bloc. You know, while this is playing, I want to pull something else up for you guys.
Like in St. Louis. Get the point? Jasmine built her political career on the idea that she came from the struggle. In reality, she's using those who are struggling for power and treating the little guy like garbage. A recent article details how abusive Jasmine Crockett is to her staff, saying that she's lazy and erratic, screams at them, and that she uses them for grunt and brute labor, that she makes them serve her hand and foot like a queen, and nobody likes working for her because of this arrogant, elitist attitude. Could it be because of Jasmine Crockett's upbringing that she behaved this way? Someone should ask. While Jasmine is being an abusive tyrant in Washington, D.C., her district suffers. A man who's lived here 63 years explains the changes as he sits at an abandoned gas station.
Carl, how we doing, man? You've been here 63 years?
63 damn years.
You've seen a lot.
Man, I've seen a lot of help. I've seen a lot of people pass away.
Too much violence?
Yeah. So I'm used to it, you know. I don't walk through it. You know, like elder people, you know, they kind of scared, you know, walk through the store and stuff, because these young kids be out here, you know, selling that shit, man. It just, you know, this things will change, man.
Gotten for the better or for the worse?
It got a little worse.
Yeah.
It ain't getting no better.
That's too bad to hear. What would you like to see fixed, Carl?
I'd like to see the city get fixed. You know, the whole city, man, you know. Because, like I said, violence, we doing drive-bys and shooting and all that type of stuff, man. You know, that ain't fun. When I was raised up, we didn't do all that. I didn't get through fighting, then we go drink a beer together. That's what you do.
The people living in South Dallas were kind to us. They were warm and genteel and welcoming. They had some Southern charm. They've seen better days, and they deserve better than a code-switching theater kid playing a hood rat representing them.
The Jasmine Crockett story is all too common in American politics. Somebody who's lying to you, defrauding you, stealing from you, leaving your neighborhoods looking like this. They take the power and they leave you with nothing. It's an important reminder that you really shouldn't put your faith in communists, socialists, or the next big thing.
Or black women. All right, Benny didn't want to say that, but I had to say it for him, all right? Benny is too professional. He's too polished. He's far too polite to say that kind of thing. So I'm going to say it for you, Benny.
Somebody had to do it. I am the chosen one.
Somebody had to do it.
Oh shit. I want to open up the panel in a little bit, guys. Do me a favor. If you want to have a panel, throw $1 in the hat. Let's pay the panel fee. Let's open up the floor because I want to talk to you guys a little bit more about this stuff. And I do want to get some other opinions on this, but there's something else that I think needs to be discussed. And I touched on this earlier. We have to come back to this idea. Did you know there is a channel on YouTube called Win with Black Women? I don't think there's a channel called Win with Black Men. So black men have bought into the winning with black women concept to our detriment.
Project 2025 is crazy when you look into it.
I got a question though, because you spend a lot of facts and you know it. You just said Trump will be the closest thing to a dictator. That doesn't scare you enough to vote?
Well, not really, because that's why I'm here. I was open to the thought. I'd rather not be a part than be a part. I'm not gonna lie. Me watching the debate, it was a great fight. I ain't gonna lie, gloves off. It was a great fight. I was leaning more towards her. She made me feel better. The things that she was killing him. She was doing him so bad to the point where I understood everything she said in clear English. And for real, Donald Trump is all about himself and his people. She give me the hope to think she made me feel like she's gonna fight for me right now. So I need that.
Niggas really do be 35 years old, talk about this woman made me feel like she gonna fight for me. Yeah. Yeah. This is the problem. This is the real problem here. We have to break these niggas' minds open.
You feel what I'm saying? I need that. That's what I'm leaning more towards voting for her. It's also scary because I was always raised on kind of like a female will never be a president also.
I think people need to look past, no offense, but I think people need to look past this whole gender thing. I think black women are the backbones of our household.
Black women are the backbones of our households. How do our households look? What's the report card on black women running the households?
Sure they is.
So if they can raise us, they should be able to lead.
If we look around this room, it was a woman who did a lot for us.
Now that is the ultimate black psyop right there. We all got raised by women, so we might as well let women continue to raise us.
You know what I mean? If it wasn't for my mom, I wouldn't be who I am today.
If it wasn't for my mom, I wouldn't have a pair of clippers to start this barbershop.
So you look at it, women can lead in the household. They can lead in the neighborhoods.
And what is your job? What's your role then? If women are leading in the household, they're leading in the neighborhood, they're leading the community, what is the role for you? Are you just like a glorified clipper holder? Like, what is your life? What is your internal identity if women have all of the leadership roles? All the good jobs go to the women. What is left for you?
Why can't they lead in the White House? They deserve that opportunity because if you look at it, some of the biggest decisions was at the feet of a woman when it came to us. So now let's give them a chance.
Now, why? Let me calm down because these niggas are aggravating the hell out of me. You realize of all the groups of men in the world, I don't think there's any other group of men seriously considering letting the women just run everything. You only ever hear these conversations with black men in Black America. I don't even hear African men talking like this. You know, to their credit, the Africans haven't been cucked this hard yet.
They deserve that opportunity because if you look at it, some of the biggest decisions was at the feet of a woman when it came to us. So now let's give them a chance to sit right there.
Vote means everything to me. Leadership, someone that understands.
And notice how nobody in this conversation is going in the opposite direction. So we are supposed to all believe that the black community is in lockstep with this one idea because it is so morally righteous. We're all good people if we do this. This is how propaganda actually works for you.
Community is very, very important. So I myself would be voting for Kamala Harris.
voting means everything to me. I think in this election for 2024, I'm going to choose Vice President Kamala Harris. The reason why I'm going to choose her to vote, because me being an entrepreneur and a young business owner and having the voice, I feel as though she'll be the person representing all of us. When you look at a reflection of yourself, if you're somebody that's in that realm, I think you should go with Miss Harris.
They gave that nigga a $7,000 EBT card to do that promotional shot. They paid that nigga in food stamps, y'all. I promise you. They paid that nigga in EBT. Niggas got to do better. And here's the channel, Win with Black Women. Yes, they've been holding court for months ever since Kamala lost. Well, actually, ever since before Kamala lost, they've been trying to keep the Black women fire alive.
Names up and honor them on this call tonight in the middle of this most important Black History Month. Ashe, so many beautiful names. I'll say my grandmother's names out loud: Florence May Abraham and Enda May Edie. Thank you. Well, sisters, we are so honored always to be joined by our warriors in Congress. We know that the Congressional Black Caucus is the conscience.
And I want to throw the link in the chat in just a few minutes. Please support the panel, y'all. We are to open up the chat in just a minute.
Of the Congress, and there are a historic number of Black women that make up the Congressional Black Caucus. And we are always so honored to have a deep partnership with the Congressional Black Caucus in welcoming members of the Congressional Black Caucus who lead with conviction and courage every single day, not only for those that they represent, their constituents, but for all of us. And we're so honored to be joined by this warrior queen. I love to see you. I know you are on island right now, representing the U.S. Virgin Islands, Congresswoman Stacey Plaskett. It's so honored just to be with you. We have a video that we want to show before we have you come up. So we're going to show this video to put it in context, all of the amazing work that you do on behalf of the citizens of the U.S. Virgin Islands and all of us. Let's roll the video.
Mr. Speaker, this week, a federal judge paused the administration's plan to end temporary protective status for Haitians. While this ruling provides temporary relief, we must stay engaged. Now is not the time.
I think we may have a technical. It happens, but you are. I can tell you. I don't know if we're going to be able to get it back up, but you were talking about and bringing to the floor of Congress a very important issue on the status and the protection of our brothers and sisters in Haiti.
Yes, thank you.
And bringing and shedding light on what many believe is a hypocrisy as it relates to some of our foreign policy, particularly under this administration. And I know we'll get into that, but when we get into that, I first want to just welcome you and say welcome. I know that there's some of your constituents that.
Now, like I said, this is an entire channel whose focus is Black women in politics. And they've been on the go for a while now, over a year now. And shout out to Ms. Cantrell with the $1.99 for the panel. We're going to drop the link to the panel in just a moment. But I've been asking Grok some questions in the background. I'm going to pull that up as we bring up the panel, y'all. But I want to share something else with you as we kind of switch to the second half of the show here. You know, Stephen A. Smith has been doing his press junket recently. I think he's flirting with a presidential run. He probably won't actually run. I don't think Stephen A. Smith wants to sacrifice everything he got. But he was on The View recently. He did get over to The View.
I'm going to say one more thing because, you know,
I know that you have very strong feelings about Democrats, but I do have this to say to you. It was important, I think, for Democrats to show that they stood with the LGBT community, that they stood with Black women and women in general, because once you let us go, once you let women and poor people go, what do you have? And so I've listened to lots of people say, you know, that you didn't follow what was necessary. They did it the way they thought they could. It didn't work for them. They got it.
See, respectfully, I don't like that. Let me explain.
That's okay.
Let me explain.
Just like you said to Sonny.
Let me explain.
He sure did say that to me.
Let me
We're going
explain.
to come back. We have to take a break.
We have to take a break?
We have to take a break.
When we come back, you can explain.
Yeah.
Okay.
More with Stephen A. Smith.
And this is why you're losing. That's exactly why you're losing. Because we can tell you just hate you just hate the men. You would rather lecture to the men and have them shut up when they have something to say. And a lot of men are just we're not really feeling this anymore. And so I think because, you know, Black men have led the charge from the podcast, the manosphere, the gender war, and all that stuff. A lot of Black men have been leading the charge against this arrogant Black female political environment. And because Black men have kind of shown the chinks in their armor, now they are less valuable to the left-wing political establishment. We have thrown their use into chaos right now. The left wing can't use them to the same effect that they once did because it just doesn't work anymore. And Stephen A. Smith just showed you why it's not working. You are alienating half of your base here. And not only are you alienating them, low key, you just outright hate us. And we can kind of tell. We can just tell you really don't love us like that anymore. Now, I think I did just throw the link in the chat. If anybody wants to come up and be a part of the show, please feel free to hit that link. Let's try to keep our language in check. I'm trying to keep these things in the green. I got like a 60-40 ratio of keeping these things in the green. And right away, look what we got in the background. Angry snowman. Oh, man. Oh, here we go. Here we go. What's going on, snowman? Appreciate you coming through.
What, no N-word pass today? That's messed up, bro.
No, we're still working on the details.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
I haven't even sent you the promo flyer yet. You're not even in the program.
That's messed. I'm not even in the program. That's messed up, dude. I thought we were better than that. I figured I'd be one of the first crackers. But anyhow.
What's going on, man?
Did you notice that Whoopi said the one thing that I keep pointing out? And it was one of the first things she brought up. That the Black community needs to support the Rainbow Mafia. And this is something that I've been pointing out for the last 6-7 years now to all you guys. I mean, you've been pointing it out as well, but that there's this weird attachment that the Black community is allowing all these other, quote unquote minorities or marginalized groups to attach their, quote unquote struggle to the Black struggle, so to speak. And it's weird that nobody is calling this out.
God damn it. You stopped talking as soon as I was trying to sneak a bite of my lunch. Anyway, I think you're absolutely right. And that, like you said, I have been kind of noticing this for a little while. It's pretty much kind of the theme of my whole channel, because I decided a long time ago when I first started podcasting, I don't necessarily want to do constant red pill relationship drama content, because for me, it seemed like the gender war was deeply political. It had the red pill stuff is only surface layer. I think we can solve a lot of those red pill gender war problems by getting the politics right, meaning you have to take their power base away. You have to literally cut their power base. You have to cut them off from their power base, which would win the gender war for you, right? And so when I look at the politics and I look at how like a lot of these Black women are basically being used as a cudgel to forward these progressive agendas Whether or not the progressive agenda actually helps the individual Black community is irrelevant, which is like with Stephen A. Smith on The View, Whoopi Goldberg was trying to tell him how it's so important that the Democrats are all gay and transgender and yada, yada, yada. And then Stephen A. Smith is like, nah, I don't like that. And what they do, shut up. We're going to go to commercial. Shut up, Steve. And so it's like, that's really how they think about you. They just want you to go along with their crazy agenda. And if you get uncomfortable, shut up, nigga.
Well, what's wild about it, too, is if you really think about it on a logical scale, really, they should have already lost the gender war to begin with when they said gender was fluid and was a social construct. Once you start taking away the viability of gender to actually be in the discussion and make it something that's a social construct, that's binary, that's non-binary, that's fluid, that can just come and go as you wish, then your whole gender war argument has already been lost, because to me that means that you don't even believe in gender as an idea to begin with.
You know, I saw I think it was Scott Jennings recently. He made that little argument, whereas I'm going to paraphrase him poorly, but if you can't distinguish between male and female, man or woman, I can't trust your opinion on anything else beyond that. Like, this is a basic, fundamental reality type of problem here. And if you firmly believe that men can be women, women can be men, there's nothing else we have to say to each other beyond that.
Right. So what you got?
Now, I have this image on screen. This is from Grok. I actually use Grok a lot more than Chat GPT, but everything's woke, so don't assume. But I asked Grok, which Black women won their Democrat primary election in 2026? And then Grok responds, as of March 4th, 2026, the current date today, the 2026 election cycle is ongoing, with primaries staggered across states. Many Democrat primaries have not yet occurred, especially for November 2026 general elections. Ergo, most Senate and House races plus governors. The earliest major primaries, such as those in Texas, North Carolina, and Arkansas on March 3rd, provide the main results available so far. And as I said, the Black women's age seems to be coming to an end. No Black women won their Democrat primaries in the high-profile races reported from the March 3rd, 2026 primary. Jasmine Crockett lost, obviously, and other races in Texas, North Carolina, and Arkansas featured incumbents or other winners, but no Black women emerge as nominees in the key contested ones highlighted. Now, there's some other ones coming up. Many Black women are running or were running in Democrat primaries for Senate, House, Governor, judicial roles. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Mostly running for Senate. I think most of them are going to lose. Their primaries are scheduled for later, so we're going to have to come back to this one. But so far, it looks like Black women are losing their political juice, and it couldn't have been a better time.
When you look at Congress, like say that you're watching some kind of congressional hearing or whatever, and you actually get to see the big crowd, big panoramic view of Congress and everybody sitting in their seats and whatnot and whatever. Do you ever find it interesting that it's always on the left where you find all the Blacks, all the immigrants, all the women, all the socialists, all the communists, all the extremely geriatric congressmen and representatives that should have retired 30 years ago? Do you ever find that interesting that 85% of that demographic is all on the left?
Well, yes, and not only that, but when you do look at that picture, the right wing has become, whether we like to admit it or not, whether the right can actually embrace it on these terms, the right wing is the party of straight men, mostly white, But
Yes.
generally, the right is the party of straight men. The Democrats are the party of non-white homosexuality.
They're the party of anarchy. Let's just call it what it is.
Yeah. And then also by their own posturing, Democrats themselves have positioned white men as the symbol of functioning, orderly society, and then casting themselves as everything in opposition to a functioning, orderly society. And so they have created the very white boogeyman that they claim to, hate and want to destroy. And at the same time, while creating that white boogeyman, they've made that white boogeyman a kind of rallying point where even straight black men who otherwise would be worried about racism and white supremacy and all that, I'd rather stand with the white boogeyman than with all these queers who are just they just want to be gay in church. And I ain't with that shit, man.
Yeah, what are they coming to church doing? Being gay.
And so they make the choice pretty easy, though.
These people are crazy. I'm telling you, they're crazy.
Man, I tell you what, there's so many clips in that State of the Union address. So many clips.
Oh, that State of the Union was just a factory for clip farming. Like, dude, the way he went after
and whoever was running,
hilarious, bro.
Whoever was running,
I love that whole thing.
All I know is whoever was running the camera needs to be given an award.
Yeah,
Straight
it
up.
was dope.
Because every time Trump would say something and they would pan to specific congressmen and women, like when he's talking about the transgender thing and he panned to the man woman.
Oh, that was dope.
That was crazy.
You know, it's wild. Why can't I find Stephen A. Smith's appearance on The View on their actual channel? What's going on here, Steve?
Because he spoke out of line on The View, so they are not going to they're not going to allow that to be seen. You know, the View's got strict standards. You know, they're only allowed to tell lies. They can't tell truths.
Like, damn, where is the full episode with Stephen A. Smith? You know what? Now let me see. Let me type this in the proper way. Let's see if I can pull it up. Because it has to be here somewhere. No, not 2 months ago. No, I need this. Didn't he just show up? Did he not just show up there recently?
On The View?
I thought he did show up there recently.
Yeah,
Maybe
I think he did show up. I think he showed up like within the last probably month.
Yeah, I know, because like he's doing this whole press tour thing, and I'm like, nah,
right? Because he's not completely thrown his hat in the ring, but he's not, you know, completely disavowed the idea of it either. You know, he's kind of flirting with it right now. I don't know. If it was a choice between Stephen A. Smith or Kamala, I'd take Stephen A. Smith all day long.
You know what? I think I did have that wrong. That was an episode maybe from December, but still kind of holds the point I was trying to make, which is you guys just don't really want to hear from men.
No, they just don't want they don't want to hear.
The Democrats are the party of women, and well, and that's another thing. They've symbolically made men represent truth. Like, Democrats have ceded so much territory that it's like, remember that whole chart about whiteness and how all the best characters of a person were attributed to whiteness? And it's like, well,
and white
what are you
supremacy
saying about everything else, you know?
Yeah. And see, that's the thing that I've noticed, and it's getting more and more blatant, is it ain't even really so much true. I mean, I think truth has a lot to do with it, but anytime it seems like anytime anybody has any kind of opposition against whatever it is you're trying to frame from that side, I mean, it's just instantly shut down. There's no room for any kind of conversation. And to me, that's problematic. extremely problematic. I mean, because how can you talk? How can we even talk about the issues of the nation if we can't sit down and have a discussion on where we find differences and can't see eye to eye? I mean, we can't even reach a conclusion on where we do see eye to eye.
I wonder if they actually kept that little bit on the show about the whole LGBT thing.
You could try to start
2015.
Yeah. That's kind of, you know.
They did reportedly have a falling out, but
Yeah. I heard it was over some property in
And see, they want to hold, the Democrats really want to hold Trump to this Epstein thing, and it's just not sticking. It's burning them up that they cannot get Trump on this Epstein thing. But I think what the Democrats, like I was saying, this whole show is really kind of questioning whether or not the Democrats have sort of gone to the end of the road with black women in particular. I think the demographics are shifting in such a way that the black vote is just going to become less relevant just by, statistical
Well, no, you
reality.
pointed it out earlier, Hood. The truth of the matter is Americans, white and black, men and women that have some kind of common sense are just getting tired of being scolded and reprimanded by privileged black women. I mean, seriously,
right?
How are you going to sit here and talk about oppression and all the struggles that you went through when you're more privileged than most of the white people you're talking to?
And this is why I started to look at even black rappers are basically Hollywood, but everybody who was like a successful, wealthy celebrity is also infinitely oppressed, and they can never escape their own struggling blackness. Like, it's starting to become just too much, just
It's
all too much.
Yeah, it's like old dude from Boondocks said, man. All the social currency that the black community once had the well has run dry. Nobody gives a shit anymore. Nobody cares. Nobody except for you.
Yeah. That was Aaron Magruder 20-something years ago. It's crazy how that was so long ago, but it's now starting to become the most relevant.
Well, I mean, think about it, Hood. You can only go around, being loud and obnoxious and doing the most, as black women would say, doing the most all the time. You can only do it for so long before society itself says, hold on, I've had enough.
Right. And I think
that's where we're at now.
We're kind of getting to that place now where it's everybody's getting fed up. I played the clip earlier of the gay dude talking about, you this fat oppressed queen or whatever. And it's yeah, even the liberals who are your allies are low-key sick of you, which is actually something I've been tracking for a long time. The liberals have been using black women, and black women have been using the liberals to be fair. But I think we're just hitting the end of the road now.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, something's got to happen anyhow. I mean, it can't continue down this road anymore. I mean, because look, if our government wasn't the laughing stock of the world, it's not far from it now. I mean, we're one racial slur and one fist fight away from becoming British Parliament.
Oh God, yeah. The last thing you want to, we do not need to be Britain. Britain has already gone through some shit. You know what else I realized too? Speaking of black women taking L's recently, you heard the Slutty Vegan is now closed. Slutty vegans are bankrupt and destitute now.
I never knew they were a thing.
Yeah. Apparently Slutty Vegan was some type of black woman owned phenomenon or whatever. And they're bankrupt now and they owe a whole lot of COVID money.
So they were another branch of Black Lives Matter is what you're saying.
Not quite, but something like that, I guess. Their grift has run its course as well. I think that's really what's happening. The black female racial oppression has basically run its course, and a lot of people, like I said, are just over it. And and thank you to Black men for leading the charge on that, because I think with the gender war in this online world, a lot of Black men have sort of shown the cracks in the Black female political machine. And so now it's like, well, if the Black men have finally opened up the gates, now the liberals are getting the okay to kind of just discard them and move on to something else that works. We got another guest over here. Your background.
Well, hold on. About this vegan lesbian thing, though. If you eat cat, can you even do that if you're a vegan? Isn't that against the rules? You're not allowed to eat pussy, right?
Snowman, let's not. Let's just not.
I'm just saying.
Anyway, we were moving on to a new guest on the panel. What's going on? We got Nardito up here. What's going on, bro?
What's up? What's up? I just finished eating lunch, so I'm about to step outside.
Okay, you need a second? What?
Yeah, just let me. I got to throw my food away and then walk out the door.
All right, I'll come back to you in just a moment. Just hang tight.
I don't know. I think that it's safe to say, Hood, that a lot of people in America.
Hold on a second. Hold on a second. I'm sorry, Snowman. I got something running in the background.
People all have their
the N files. What are the N files?
Their choices, women's rights.
Something I'm working on, Snowman. I'm working on a theme.
I like it.
I know you would. You don't even know what it is. You like it already. I'm working on something in the background now. I got to do some standalone, like some pre-edited content for that. Or maybe I can do some shows too, but
I think it's really exciting and encouraging to see a woman and potentially have the first African-American woman be in her position. She's trying to create a world where people all have their rights to their own decisions, their bodies, their choices, women's rights. Definitely crucial, definitely something that I look for as a woman who has a daughter. I want her to be able to have a right to her own body. We talk about it every day, all the time. And that's something that's central for me in bringing me out and making sure that I vote and rally everybody around me to vote also. I think it's really exciting and encouraging to see a woman and potentially have the first African.
Oh, sorry about that. I'm trying to eat my lunch too, damn it. But
I'm tired of listening to all these gender studies, women's studies, racial studies, people thinking, dude, why do we listen to these people? Why do we give them platforms? Why do we put them in positions? The people that go to college for any kind of study should be automatically exempt of running for Congress.
No, this is why we had Pete Hegseth recently say that he's going to pull a lot of funding from a lot of these universities that are like, well, I forgot the exact nature of it, but a lot of these places that have some kind of connection to the U.S. military or whatever, and they're basically trying to make the soldiers woke. He's going to pull the funding for a lot of this woke stuff because that's how you really fight this. This is just a institutional indoctrination that's happening here. And the only way
you notice that they have. You ever notice they have every study in college except straight male studies?
Oh, they would never. That's why even black male studies is controversial. And I don't even like black male studies as a thing because it is like, it's still within the confines of the university paradigm. So they believe in shit like white supremacy and all that shit. But even they're controversial, but they're black, so they let them exist. Imagine if it was just a bunch of white guys, like it would never get off the ground. But Nardito, you said lunch is over. You enjoying an after lunch cigarette right now? What's going on?
Nah, man. How's everybody doing, first of all?
Doing good, brother. Welcome to the show, by the way.
Appreciate it. It's been a long time. But I'm back now. Angry Snowman never responded to my tweet about doing a show together. I had sent you a tweet probably about a year ago.
Oh, yeah.
And
my bad, dude.
Yeah,
send me another tweet, dude. I'm bad about social media, man. I'll do a show with you if you want to do a show. I don't care.
I appreciate it. I need to get out there and test my chops. But yeah, stopped at Long John Silver's on my way going home from my route. I got a 2-hour drive, so I got plenty of time and I got a lot to say. But ding dong, the witch is dead. Nothing makes me more excited than the defeat of a diary of a mad black woman.
Let me ask you a question. I hear a little bit of Southern in your voice. Are you in Texas, my brother?
No,
Texas? Okay, I'm just curious. Throwing a shot in the dark. Go ahead. Continue.
I know it's a good one, but yeah, I've been told.
Nah, he Midwesterner, dude. I can tell by that Midwestern twang.
No, South Carolina.
Damn.
I know I heard the South, but anyway, I was wrong though.
Yeah, South Carolina.
Continue.
But yeah, I'm so happy that Diary of a Mad Black Woman has been defeated. Damn, I'm up here in Fort Oglethorpe, Georgia right now. Fucking 2-bedroom apartment starting at $895. Wow.
They must be running out of immigrants to sell to.
That's
That's really what's happening. Once you get rid of a lot of the illegals, all the pricing and stuff starts to fall down because there's literally less free money, less cheap money going around because the immigrants were getting all kinds of subsidies and whatnot. So it's like once you remove, it's literally economics 101, supply and demand. There is less demand, so now we have to lower the price on the supply.
2-bedroom at $895. Now for this area, it's expensive. But I stay outside Metro Atlanta. 2-bedroom starting at $895. That's
actually like, shoot, that's in my range. I can have a single man's 2-bedroom apartment in Atlanta or North Georgia.
Northwest Georgia.
Yeah, I don't want to live in Atlanta, no way.
I was gonna say, damn, that's pretty good because where I live, man, 2-bedroom apartment, you're looking at about $1,200 a month.
I know. In New York City, it's probably closer to 25, 23.
So the people who stay, I can see the Bank of America building on the main road in my county, and that's as close to Atlanta as I want to be. You can see like the little tip of it, right? So that's how far away I am, right? But I don't see how people live down there. I just don't.
Yeah, I'm glad I don't live. I'm glad I don't live in the city, man. Because what people are paying for 2-bedroom apartments in the city, I'm paying for 2 acres of land in a 5-bedroom house out in the country.
Yeah, the thing about living out there in the country though is you gotta be able to self-sustain. So if you're not good with your hands, living out there in the country is not a good idea.
Actually, I was having a conversation, something about that topic about like why urban centers tend to lean Democrat. Because if you look at a map of this country, there is almost no really blue state. Maybe Vermont or like Washington State, maybe, but generally speaking, it's the urban centers and that heavy population concentration that will pull a state into the blue. But we were talking about what makes the urban, what makes the rural areas lean red. And I think that's a huge part of it. The further you get away from urban, let's call it resource distribution networks, the more self-reliant you have to become and the more communal and network reliant you have to become, meaning the members of the community actually have to depend on one another, which kind of bonds the people together in a way that a government could never just artificially replace. But we got another panelist up here. Welcome to the show, American Man. What do you want to add to the show? Before you start, Kuna Coons with the $2. Hood, which black women politicians have family and kids? I just asked Grok that question, Kuna Coons. I'm going to pull that up in just a minute, but American Man, welcome to the show.
Gentlemen, what's up? I myself am also on lunch. Her shirt says black women will save the country. What I'm trying to figure out is what makes them think that 7% is going to save the other 93% that mostly disagree with you.
Honestly, you know how they say black women are the most educated? None of these women are in a mathematics program. Not one. They're educated in fine arts and community weave, basket weaving and shit. Like they will make a basket out of actual weave, but none of them bitches are in a math program. I think that movie about the NASA chicks who saved NASA, I think that was all a lie too. There's no way in hell 4 black women can do advanced quadratic equations, and we only just heard about these bitches in 2015. There's no way.
I mean, I agree with it on the math thing, man, because just basic math will tell you that you got to stop, aborting your offspring in order for there to be enough of you to save the country to begin with.
Yeah, thank you. Also, though, exactly who is asking black women? Because at first it was this campaign that black men were asking black women. I've known not one black man to ever ask a black woman to save him from anything. So, like, I don't know who these people are actually asking black women besides white liberals that use them and gay men. I don't look to black women for anything.
Can I interject something?
Sure.
The Medea character is what they believe that black women should be. That sassy, smart mouth, overly feminine character is what they believe that black women should be. And they believe that that is good, strong leadership for a society. So that's how they believe that they will save the country. That, and it will stop racist white men from gaining power. But yeah, they want the Medea character, whatever. That Medea character like figure to be leading society.
So they want a trans black woman to run the country.
No, yes. The character.
Pretty much.
The way.
Well, the character Medea is a trans black woman.
No, I'm saying her attitude, her actions, all that stuff. That's what they want to lead society. Like, it's all well and good. It's all well and good until they start fucking with sports. Once they start fucking with sports, all that shit goes out the window.
They already touch sports, bro. Sports is captured. I promise you.
I know. That's what I'm saying. That was where I was getting to. But I haven't watched.
Man, El Cid is hitting below the belt with his comments today. Holy cow!
Yeah. Oh my goodness. I don't even want to highlight that. Hold on, American Man. It sounds like you're about to interject something.
Yeah, I don't think that they actually want that running the country. They want that as the face of it while they run it. Because look at what Jasmine Crockett is actually running up against, right? Like literally they stopped her from winning the Senate race. The Democrat Party itself.
The Democrats.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Like they're blaming Republicans. And look, if you know anything about black people, they always blame the Republicans and the devil for everything. Nothing matters. You can have a completely blue state, and soon as they fail you, the Republicans did it.
Yeah. Hey, Carmen, I think Medea for president would actually be like a great movie if not great, like I would love it, but it would do well if what's your name put it out. I promise you, because he's done everything. He done married and divorced all the niggas in Atlanta. Medea might as well run for president, yes. Like what else can Medea do now? But I got another guest on the show here. I don't know if I've ever spoken to this one before. Welcome to the show. We have a random independent on the line.
We talked like several times.
Have we? Oh, okay. I just don't be remembering people's names, but I know your voice though. Right. I can hear the saltiness in your voice, my nigga. I know this guy.
You can hear that sexiness, right?
Ew, nigga. What the fuck did you just say to me? Nigga, don't get banned.
I ain't stutter.
Don't get banned. This nigga up here being gay in church. See what I mean? Nigga just got on the mic and he want to be gay in church.
Get what are they coming to church doing? Being gay. Get what are they coming to church doing? Being gay.
What's going on, Randall? What's up? What y'all niggas bitching about today?
Well, is this the end of the black female political usage? Because it seems like black women as a political phenomenon are losing their usefulness, and that's kind of what I've been talking about this last 2 hours.
Oh, so I feel like that kind of goes against what you typically say, which is that black women aren't useful. So are you saying that they have been useful?
To the Democrat Party, the black women have been immensely useful. But I'm saying that the Democrats themselves sided with a quote mediocre white boy in Jasmine Crockett's language over Jasmine Crockett, which is the strong, like literally, she's the most black woman of all the black women in Congress right now. And they sided with the mediocre white boy over her. I'm just saying it looks like this is a trend. There was a shift in the universe right now. Like everything is moving away from the black woman's power right now.
So did black women win anywhere else besides this one Texas Senate race?
She lost, and no one else has won yet.
Crockett lost. I said, did any black women win in any other race besides this Texas Senate
no
race?
Other black woman won yet. There are other races,
and no other state. No black women have won.
There are other races to come up, so they haven't happened yet. So right now, Jasmine is out, and not only Jasmine, but look, we lost Cori Bush recently. Cori Bush was a part of the squad, right? Because I'm following politics. I'm telling you.
I just want to make sure we're on the same page. You're saying that no black woman that was in the race yesterday won.
Literally, I just AI'd that question
across the United States.
I just AI'd the question.
That's the issue with using AI is that they don't know what they're talking about.
Well, this is a simple search. I'm not asking a philosophical question. Yeah. I'm asking it to
do a philosophical question because you asked if this is black women's usefulness has run its course for the Democrat Party.
I didn't ask it that. What do you mean? I didn't ask it that. I asked
you said, do you think that it's a shift? That it's a shift? It's a whatever.
I asked you that question.
I just said that.
I didn't ask AI that question. You're accusing me of asking AI that question. That's what I'm saying.
No, I didn't accuse. I was saying that you said it's not a philosophical question. I'm saying, but you're asking a philosophical question.
I did not ask AI a philosophical question. I think you're not listening to me.
How many times am I going to say that? How many times am I going to agree that you didn't ask AI that question before you stop saying that you didn't ask AI that question?
Okay, so we agree. I'm asking you the question, right?
Yeah, and that's my point. Is that you're asking a philosophical question. We can
on top of the question about black women losing their primary races is not philosophical.
Okay, so all right, did you ask a philosophical question or not? It doesn't matter. Black women. There's other black women that ran. There's other black women that ran and did win in the Democrat Party.
Who? Because I looked it up and I didn't find any.
You can look up Valerie Foushee.
She won her primary yesterday.
Yes.
She's black.
Yes.
Okay. Let me look that up.
Yes, actually, I know a guy that knows her. Interestingly enough, she's been a swirler her entire life.
I mean,
God brought it up. He was like, yeah, he went to school with her because he's around her age. But
that
anyway,
actually, it's neither here nor there.
So she won. Okay, so doesn't really seem to necessarily be a trend or anything. But I would have voted for Tallarico if I was in Texas. I didn't like. I had seen a couple of quotes from Crockett that I didn't really rock with, and I liked Tallarico's more of his moderate center appeal or appealing to voters across the aisle, which I didn't really see Crockett even attempt to do. But that seems to be a typical like quote unquote progressive way to move about, which is only go for the people on your side and say fuck the other side. So I'm happy Tallarico seems to have won, and yeah.
I think next year will be the test because I know in Georgia, Keisha Lance Bottoms is probably going to get the Democratic nomination, and if she loses in the state of Georgia, I think that'll be the final death nail in their coffin.
What will be the final coffin for what?
If Keisha Lance Bottoms is slated to get the gubernatorial Democratic nomination in the state of Georgia, and if she loses, I think that'll be the death nail in the coffin for black women in high political offices.
Because honestly, that's
because one woman lost.
Well,
no. Cori Bush, Kamala, Jasmine, Keisha Lance Bottoms, and that's four big time losses.
Are any of those moderates?
No.
Okay, so maybe it wouldn't be black women; it would be progressive, generally speaking, trying to run in these swing states or in these red states, trying to win. They just can't do that.
That's the majority of black women. They are not moderate. I don't think most black women are moderate politically. That's kind of the problem here. So, and then not only that, this is the other point I wanted to bring up. We'll debate on that, but I don't think that I think that what's happening is this sort of anti-woke wave that's taken over the country is going to catch a lot of black women up in it, which is why I say a lot of these women are not moderate. Black women don't typically represent a moderate political position. Why would you say they're moderate, by the way?
I think depending on the issue, is really.
Name a
so
woman
if I'm going to take
her moderate issue.
Let's see. Kamala Harris, when she was campaigning, she said she would have a advisory committee that was composed of both Republicans and Democrats. That's a moderate stance.
You really believe that?
Qualifies, but yeah, if that's what you want to believe.
That's a moderate stance.
That's not a policy position.
Okay. So, Kamala Harris, they did not go all out in supporting Ukraine in the presidency, vice presidency administration. They didn't go all out in supporting Ukraine. They kind of trickled down, gave them some weapons and whatnot, trickled it to them to not overcome Russia too much and cause too many casualties and whatnot. So that's a moderate position, correct?
How much money did?
That's not an extremist position, correct?
That was the Biden administration, not necessarily Kamala.
That's what I'm saying.
Since she's a part of that, hold on. Let me ask the question now. How much money did the Biden administration allocate?
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
How does it not matter if you're calling her moderate?
You're asking me for, because that's why I just said it's about the totality, and you're asking me for certain
totality of money.
You're asking me what makes someone a moderate, or what would I view as a moderate, or why do I say that I think that black women are moderate, generally speaking, or whatever. And I'm giving examples of a black woman having moderate stances. And so when you only look at social issues, the group that feels like they are the most oppressed is always going to be on the extreme side of social issues. That's always how it's been throughout any culture in the world.
Let me ask you that question. Let me ask this
question. Hold on.
Oh, go ahead. You got it, American.
Let me ask him a question.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
right? Because I don't think most black men are moderate either. But let me ask this question: is voting at 92% for one party for 30 years? Does any of that scream moderate to you in real life? Because that seems a bit extreme to me. That there's no place where they could break. Well, are you black?
Yeah, I'm mixed.
Yeah, so that makes sense. We all know the mixed ones are always the worst.
Oh, thank you. I think we're always the best if you look at throughout history and you know.
I mean, sure, man. Hey, listen. Hey,
shout out to
listen, man. Everyone has their feelings.
Thank you.
But my whole thing is this. One group voting at 93%, 93% for one party for years. That doesn't seem extreme, and that screams moderate to you.
Just because you vote one way or you do something for 30 years doesn't make you extreme. You know, I can.
Does that seem moderate to you?
It depends on what. Yes, it does. It depends. Well, you guys have a problem with me completing thoughts, apparently.
I'm trying to give you the floor, so I get
you keep on interrupting when I'm talking, but it's all good. I got about 15 or so minutes before I got to get a haircut. Depending on the issues that they're voting on, it can be moderate. It doesn't matter if you take a position. Can you give me a position that's moderate today?
What's a moderate position?
There isn't one.
Yeah, I don't think because I'm not a moderate either.
No. Hold on.
Anything that you would say, like, hey, if someone took this stance, that would be a moderate stance on any given issue.
I can give you one.
Okay.
A man is a man and a woman is a woman.
Okay, so sure, take that. If you took that to be the case, right? It wasn't only until recently, really, that became, questioned or whatever. So someone would have voted the past. So let's take if today was like 2012, someone would have voted and had that view for the past 30 years plus, and that's a moderate view. I don't think that's an extreme view to say a man is a man and a woman is a woman.
Is that the mainstream position that your party holds, though? Well, the Democrat Party holds.
But that's why I said it depends on the issue, right?
But what you're saying
that someone voted. So you're saying that someone voted away for 30 years. One, That's one thing. And the second half of that is that policies and opinions change. So Democrats can want to do something 30 years ago. 30 years ago was what? Bill Clinton was 96. So that was
I
that was
think
Bill
you're
Clinton, right?
muddying the water here. I think
I'm not. Well, let me finish, and then you can say whether I'm muddying the water. 30 years ago was Bill Clinton, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Most people today would say that Bill Clinton is nothing like the Democrat Party today.
Right.
So the policies that someone had back then and they're voting Democrat, those could have been moderate policies. And then fast forward 30 years, they're still voting Democrat. And those policies that voting Democrats for are still moderate today. They're not extremist.
So you're
it really just depends on the policy. It depends on the policy and what you want to talk about.
You're doing this African time thing where you're living in the constant now. Democrats were moderate maybe 20 years ago, but they were still extreme by the standards of 20 years before them. And then 20 years before them, they were extreme by the standards 20 years before them. You see what I'm saying? The Democrats are on this constant leftward continuum where they never pull back. They never stick to the center. They always go further than they were last week. And so now you're telling me that Bill Clinton 20 years ago was a moderate, even though he no longer holds the positions that he has today. He has gone further to the left than he was even 20 years ago. And so now you're telling me that this constant push toward the left is somehow equivalent to being moderate. How?
You're adding the constant push to the left. And what I'm saying is that what's moderate 30 years ago, if you're voting for that, it's different than what is moderate today. But if you were every single election, you were voting on moderate issues. Or if you were voting, because obviously if you vote for, let's say, a Democrat or Republican, there's a whole bunch of different issues that maybe you don't agree with that politician on this, you don't agree with them on that. Maybe you're a single issue voter. A lot of people are single issue voters on gun rights, abortion, certain things that they're like, you know what, I'm not bending on this. Anything else, the politician can say or do anything else, but because they're pro this or anti this, I'm going to vote for them. So people can vote and they can be voting for specific reasons. And they could have been voting on a moderate issue in the 1990s. They could have voted on moderate issues up until now, and they would have been voting moderately. They could have extreme views on certain things, but they would still be a moderate at heart. And that is the issue, is that you guys go, oh, because they voted this way, that makes them extreme, or whatever the case is. Like, that doesn't make sense. It depends on the person and what their views are on a given subject. It's not like we have a parliamentary system. It's a two-party system. We don't have a lot of choices.
What is the middle ground between gender issues when one party says gender is fluid and another party says gender is rigid? How is there a moderate ground? Like, this is what I understand.
Well, I don't necessarily, like I said, there's some issue. Well, I didn't say this, but there are some issues that maybe I wouldn't necessarily say like there's really a moderate ground, because it's either yes or no, right? But there, for example, for abortion, that's one where you could argue. So, for example, abortion, there's someone might argue like it's extreme to say no abortion, it's extreme to say abortion up until the baby's born. The moderate view would be somewhere in between. So that'd be like the moderate view.
I think the moderate
view. It depends on the.
Hold on, hear me out. Let me try. I'm gonna try something with you. Would it be fair to say the moderate view is that a baby has a life that belongs to him and him alone, or it, like him or her, whatever. The baby's life is its own life. Is that a moderate position? Yes or no?
I don't know. I don't really think about it. I would say yes. I guess I don't know. Can you go?
What black woman in your party holds that same view that the baby's life is its life alone? It doesn't belong to the mom.
Well, the baby's life doesn't have to belong to the mom, but the mom's body can still belong to the mom. So as long as if you're asking me, as long as somebody needs another person's organs to survive, that person's life is secondary to the other person's life. If you were in a car accident and I decided to hook up to the same machine you're on to give you blood, let's just say, like in this hypothetical situation, that was the only way you could get blood to survive. At any point, I can say, I don't want to give you my blood anymore. It doesn't matter whether I consented to give you my blood before or whatever the case may be. As long as you need my organs to survive, I should have the right to cut you off from those organs. They are my organs. Now, that's my view. And you can say it's extreme. You can say it's moderate. It doesn't really matter. I'm just saying that there's different ways to look at situations where it might be moderate then, or it might have been moderate then, and you can still go along that track of being a moderate the entire time. That is the point.
I think you're highlighting a simple fundamental reality between the two positions. And this is why I've said a long time ago, especially once Charlie Kirk died, once they killed Charlie Kirk, there is no middle ground anymore.
Okay.
There really is no middle ground. Either it's a baby that has its own life that deserves to be protected, or it's not. And your position is 1,000 words, but it's just not. And no matter how many words you put on top of it, you cannot moderate that position.
I didn't say my position was moderate, and I can't speak for anybody else.
But
because my position is, by societal standards, is going to be extreme because most people don't hold my view. When I talk to them, they don't hold my view. They say, "Hey, whether it be heartbeat or whether it be some other, whatever people have, whatever arbitrary standard that people have, is different than mine. Mine is simple though. It's if someone needs your body to survive, you don't want to lend them your body, organs, whatever it may be, you don't have to. It doesn't matter. And so my view would allow for essentially abortion or removal of a fetus almost essentially up until birth. But again, this is my view and it's extreme. Now, if my view is extreme and it's way more extreme than when I talk to anybody else, because nobody else I really talk to holds this view as much, then they have to be more moderate. They're closer to moderate than they are to my view.
No, they're just extreme. They're just less extreme. They're not moderate. They're just less extreme.
I didn't say they were moderate. I said they're closer to moderate. Just like someone that has,
there's no moderate just like is not moderate.
It's a fucking spectrum.
Close to my house is not my house.
Yeah, we know that. Nobody is truly moderate on any issue because there's always going to be a whole bunch of different nuances. So there's no really like, oh, they're 100% moderate. It's going to be, hey, they're moderate, more moderate than you are, or more extreme than you are. That's really how it goes. It's a spectrum. Nobody knows who's defining where moderate, what moderate is on an issue.
Well,
nobody is defining it.
You're the one who claimed moderate as a position when you got up here. And my challenge to you was to name the moderate position that any Democrats, especially Black women, hold, which I think you failed to do. Even in your own telling, you're an extremist by your own wording. So I think you would have a hard time seeing the moderate position from your extreme position. You're so far away from moderation, you need binoculars.
You do realize that you gave the position. First of all, again, I didn't speak for Black women, so I'm not speaking for Black women. I'm not speaking for anybody. When I give my view, I'm giving my view of my own opinion on the topic.
Yes.
Someone needs my welfare. Yeah, if someone needs my body to survive, yes, I should be able to refuse it at any time. I don't understand what your point is. If you're going to get into taxes, that's a completely different issue.
Welfare is unjust and immoral in the same way that stopping a woman from having an abortion is unjust and immoral.
It's not. They're not even close to the same thing, but it's okay.
How?
The point, bro.
It is a point of
when I came on here.
But okay.
When I came on here and I said, the moderate stuff or whatever, I took it that everybody understood the context. Now, someone's going to be called a moderate, someone's going to be called an extreme. Nobody can define what those actually are. Nobody can go, okay, that this specific thing makes you a moderate, because someone's going to have a whole bunch of different views on a whole bunch of different topics. What makes someone a moderate is you look at their views in a totality and you go, okay, they don't hold an extreme view here, they don't hold an extreme view here. Maybe they hold one over here, they don't want over here. How close are they to what the polls in the country say? Like, that's how you get to whether someone is a moderate or not. So if someone holds views that are, let's say 60% of the country agrees with, or 80% of the country agrees with, let's say there's 10 views and 8 of them they hold are similar to 80% of the rest of the country, and 2 of them are extreme. That's not an extremist to me. That's a moderate. Now, you might say, oh, well, they hold 2 extreme views. It doesn't matter about these other 8 views that they hold that are moderate. Because they hold 2 extreme views, they are now extremist.
I think
that doesn't make sense to me.
It sounds like you're judging the concept of moderation by a numerical reality and not by any kind of practical or even moral realities. You're just going by sheer numbers, which is a problem for me.
No. What I think is happening here, right, is, a lot of words.
Hold on. Someone's really shaking in anger. Oh man.
But also, right? And a random independent and I never get along. So
that's not true. That's not true. We are definitely, anytime I talk pro America, it seems like we're on the same page.
Oh well, yes. Yeah. Shout out to the USA and shout out to guns.
Amen.
But let me say this, right? I think here's the thing, right? I think it's what you're extreme about. And I think that's what you're trying to leave out. You're trying to say, well, they might only hold 2 extreme views. Well, yeah, here's the thing, right? I could have a view that if a baby cries more than 3 times, we should chop its head off, right? that's extreme, right? And so, like, if I hold that view, I likely hold many more extreme views. If that's the extreme view, if I can go to that far on the end of the pendulum, then I definitely have way more extreme things going on, and I'm most likely way more extreme than I am moderate. And so, again, right? I think it's the thing in which you are extreme on, right? And as far as the
how
whole
extreme you are on it.
yes, right. And as far as the entire abortion thing, right? Listen, up until 9 months, I think everyone in this country knows that's extreme, right? And that's the reason why the Democrats won't ever admit to it, right? Because they understand that everyone knows that's extreme, so we could never truly say it out in public. So, Random Independent, I think you're capping on this one with all that 2 moderate views and 8 regular, and that's more moderate. Nah, it depends on what you're extreme about, which tells whether you're extreme or not.
Well,
Okay,
I
and
mean,
so how do you decide what is extreme, right? You look at what society determines as moderate and what is extreme. So if 50% of society said, "Hey, cutting off somebody's head was okay," then you holding that view is not extreme by definition, correct?
right, which is like I
Okay,
said,
so
we're
if
doing this
50%
thing
of
where
the
it's about
country,
the
so if
numbers.
50,
Hold on, hear me out. We're doing this thing where it's about the numerical reality. And again, Bill Clinton 30 years ago was a whole different Bill Clinton than the Bill Clinton that we have right now. So my question to you is, how do you claim the moderate position when your party and your position has been pushing to the left constantly? You've lost moderation behind in the 70s, bro. You've left it behind.
what's moderate today and what was moderate 200 years ago are completely different, right? And
So
that
don't
changes.
claim
And
the
that
moderate
changes.
position when you're constantly moving to the left. Don't try to stake moderation. It's a lie.
Okay. So again, just because something has moved to the right or to the left on certain issues and on others it hasn't, or on others it's changed, or whatever the case may be, doesn't mean you don't hold moderate positions.
Which
And I don't know,
Democrat
and I don't understand
I
don't understand why you don't understand that, because a moderate can be both moderate on the right, they can be both moderate on the left. They can hold a moderate view that's more to the right, that's more right leaning. They can hold a moderate view that's more left leaning.
I don't think there are any moderate positions that the Democrats hold. Let's go from the border, from the taxes, from welfare, from crime. The Democrats literally want.
And I want you to give them. I want you to give. Well, Joe Biden is a Democrat. He's not a progressive, and I want you to give. When you speak about Democrats, I want you to speak about the Democrats, not just the quote unquote progressives ideologies.
Is there a difference at this point?
There's a huge difference. Otherwise, Biden would have been doing the same thing that AOC would have been doing. Or what's that chick's name in Minnesota? Ilhan Omar.
Ilhan.
Yeah.
Ilhan.
Do you think that they would have? Do you think they would have handled Israel the same way that Biden did, or Ukraine the same way Biden did?
Just real quick, can I correct the record? Joe Biden is a Dixiecrat. He's not a Democrat. Go ahead.
Okay. Well,
I mean, I think a lot of these terms are kind of becoming outdated.
Right and wrong is
not subjective. Yeah, and this is not the same as the political right and left, but this is kind of what we're getting at, moral problems that don't quite have a political foundation, I think.
I don't know if that you were talking about me or...
Not really you. I'm just thinking about what he just said about right and wrong. Because there is a morality that politics just kind of ignores, like the morality of things like abortion or whatever. It's grounded in something like a woman's right, but it never approaches the idea of the baby itself having a right. And the idea that the baby is dependent upon the mother, like, well, that's just biological reality. That's not a contractual obligation that's been violated some way.
Well, also, a lot of it makes no sense because if I delete a 1 month pregnant woman, I'm getting 2 bodies.
Right.
Like, so like if it's not the thing that you're saying it is, but that's what happens.
I mean, let's just
you may hold on.
Fine.
You may disagree with that premise, but that's what happens, right? So that's the reality.
So what does that have to do with my position? Because it has nothing to do with it.
Well, your position is a little bit irrelevant to the conversation because we're talking about Democrats as a whole and the trends of the country. You are just a guy.
Okay. All right, man. You asked me for my opinion on it, and then it seemed like I don't. Maybe because I.
Yeah, your political opinion isn't the same as what the country is doing politically. So if you're gonna,
I agree, but no, I'm saying that I might have missed what you were saying. It seemed like you were talking about what I had said, but
yeah.
I had stepped away, so maybe you weren't talking about me. You were talking about like Democrats or society as a whole.
I mean, a little bit.
Position
This
on
whole
abortion
conversation has been like the Democrats as a group, and then so like you having a particular belief doesn't necessarily highlight how the Democrats see a particular thing. And so again, when you say that the Democrats hold these moderate positions, we're looking for the moderation, and I don't think there is any at this point. Which is why
we see it in states all the time. We see it in states all the time because we see, for example, in North Carolina, they voted blue up the ticket and then red for president. I mean, not literally all the way up the ticket, but governor blue, senators red, president red. So that's to me, huh?
Connect that to the Democrats as a party being moderate in some way, like policy wise. Like,
okay, so are you talking about the individuals? Because we were talking about, first of all, this was talking about
the party, brother. I'm talking about.
Now we're talking about the party. Okay,
the Democrats as a group, as a political force, it's a party thing. They have clear dividing lines. You're either in the party or not, and the people who are in the party are not moderate.
How do you define someone that's in the party?
Name a moderate.
Because you're talking about the party platform. If you're talking about the
office official, they're an elected official currently or formerly. At least,
and I gave examples of Kamala Harris and Joe Biden, the most recent examples of president and vice president. Moderate issues or moderate.
They funded Ukraine by the tune of billions of dollars. I don't know what you're calling moderate on that.
It's. I mean, I explained it when I talked about it. The extreme version would have been them, sending boots on the ground to defend Ukraine, giving Ukraine more weapons to harm, to cause more casualties, or do some crazy damage to Russia. They weren't allowing Ukraine to. They weren't allowing Ukraine to use. I can't remember the word, but basically the equivalent to storm shadows to strike within Russia. They weren't allowing them to strike, even when they did allow that to strike on Russian soil. They weren't allowing them to use it to strike certain places. So yeah, these are moderate positions. I think that it's an extreme position to take, that if an adversary or enemy of the United States and of the world order that the United States has built is acting against that and invades another country, to not defend that country and allow that adversary or enemy to take over that country. I think that's an extreme view to hold. Now, I'm not going to call you an extremist because you might hold that view, because you might have a moderate, you might be overall moderate. And that's the issue. You keep on saying that Democrats don't hold any moderate views, but it's obvious they do, because they were president. They were president and vice president have crazy amount of power, but they had the administration and they didn't do anything crazy with it. When Obama was president and he had a super majority, they didn't even codify Roe v. Wade. So maybe you're going to try to argue that, over the past year, or maybe over the past 4 years somehow, that we didn't see under Biden and Kamala Harris, they somehow changed or something. I don't know, but it's obvious that Democrats have moderate views, and the fact that you're like, I don't think Democrats have any moderate views, is an extremist position to hold. And it's ironic that you're
clearly struggling to name the moderate Democrat position. You bring up things that are by nature extreme, like the Ukrainian thing, which again, they supported Ukraine to the point.
Okay, since I'm talking about topics you don't want to talk about, I got to go in like 3 minutes. Since I'm talking about topics you don't want to hear me talk about, or you don't think is a good example, that's fine. Give me a topic and I will talk about it.
Okay, let's go from the border. Let's go.
Because I gave abortion as well, and that wasn't good enough for you.
Well, you were the self-avowed abortion extremist. So let's go.
I know, but we were talking about the Democrat Party. The Democrat Party isn't abortion up to 9 months. The Democrat Party position. No, it's not. The Democrat Party position and the Democrat voters is not abortion up to 9 months or at the time or until the time of birth. It's much more moderate than that. Just like the Republican position isn't abortion in no cases whatsoever. It depends on the state and depends on the Republicans.
The general position is that abortion is murder, but the
general
position is that you will let you have it under certain circumstances.
So, if the general position of the Republicans is that abortion is murder, then there should be no instance where it's okay, because unless you're going to argue that a mother that's potentially going to die or it has health complications or whatever from it is self-defense, then that's still not an excuse for them to get rid of the baby.
Are you arguing? I just want to readdress this briefly. Is it your position that the Democrats have never supported abortion up to 9 months?
No, my position is that their official party platform, which is what you asked for, is not up to 9 months.
Okay, fair enough. There have been Democrats of significant political stature, governors, who've defended the idea of abortion.
I'm sure there has, and there's been plenty of Republicans doing the opposite. So it's not just, that's such a stupid take.
I'm giving you that point. You're right. It's not on the Democrat Party platform. Just individual Democrats believe in it.
If you take taxes, it's really the progressive wing that the quote unquote progressive. I don't find them to be progressive, but they call themselves progressive for whatever. So the quote unquote progressives are the ones talking about tax the rich at 99% and all this other bullshit. That's if you look at who votes on that shit, Democrats as a party do not vote that. They don't have it in their party platform and they don't vote that way. So to say that they don't hold any moderate views or they don't hold any view, because again, a moderate view is by definition something that the rest of the country would also find moderate. You can't say I hold a moderate view and 99% of the country disagrees with you. It doesn't work like that. So if we're looking at polling and the rest of the country says, hey, 70% this way, 70%, let's say, I don't know, it's taxes. Let's say 70% of the country says, yeah, let's raise taxes. Each tax bracket, raise it by 2%. So what's at 22% right now should be 24, 24, 26, 34, 36, whatever the brackets are. That's what 70% of the country agrees on. Democrats decide to pass legislation for that. That's not an extremist view because they want to raise taxes by 2%. That's a moderate view. If 20% of the rest of the country, so that'd be 90% overall. If the 20% said 10% were like lower taxes by 2% and 10% were like increase taxes by 4%, and Democrats did either one of those or took that position, then it wouldn't be as moderate. It would still be relatively moderate, but it wouldn't be as moderate. Is that making sense?
There's a little bit of truth in your argument. I'm not disputing your defining the concept of moderate.
Okay, but but that has to be the definition of moderate, because how else do we know what is moderate? What is the parameter? What are we measuring against that makes it moderate? Because it can't be our own thoughts.
I'm not totally disputing.
Oh, okay.
I'm not really pushing back on that, the construct of what you're saying is moderate versus not. I'm just trying to find out how the Democrats line up closer to, say, like the American general view. Because what it seems to be is like, and somebody in the chat mentioned the Overton window. What seems to be happening, which is why I keep having this general problem with your position, is that you're describing the Democrats as moderate on whatever, but over time, all of these positions have constantly, like slowly rather, shifted to the left, which almost obliterates the concept of moderation, which is why I kind of feel like maybe the moderate doesn't quite exist anyway.
I feel like it does the opposite, because if, for example, every time that any party goes too far one way, you see backlash. And that, like you talked about it earlier, about you feel like a lot of this is the quote unquote anti-woke backlash, or people turning against being quote unquote woke. And so that's where you could argue, because I don't think polling shows that the majority of Americans want censorship on school campuses, but somehow that was being pushed by the Democrat Party. So if you wanted to argue, hey, they're taking an extreme position, or they're extremists in this specific topic, then yeah, I would agree with you. But if polling shows that Americans say, hey, we want for whatever reason, we want subsidies going to like solar panels and all these other, EV things, or nuclear, for example. If 70% of the country wanted nuclear and Democrats were like, okay, let's pass legislation or do this, that's still moderate. And if the country doesn't do not necessarily a 180, but start, because they vote with, like, that's how the country expresses itself through voting, and also, through money and, maybe buying stuff here because they support that business and whatever that business's decision and all that good stuff. If the left was super not progressive, super extremist, like you claim, over the past 30 years, we should see a huge backlash from voters and from society to vote the other way. And we're not seeing that. The country is really divided, and they were voting along the Democrats. They were voting blue. They voted that way throughout the past 30 years. So what the Democrats are doing can't be extremist.
I want to stop you right there. Double back to your premise about.
Well, I gotta go, but
I know. I thought
don't know
you were
if you'll
about to leave, so I know
Yeah.
you said you had to go, so I'm not gonna make a thing. But
yeah, I appreciate you having me. If you're still on in about an hour, I'll try to hop on and continue.
Probably not, because I'm at the 3-hour mark anyway. But just because you said what you said about the moderate position of America, I do want to play this CNN clip. I think you'll find interesting. America has decided the Democrats are no longer moderate. This is not me. This is the polling from CNN.
The results from that special election, that Democratic primary in the 11th district in New Jersey, speak to a larger point within the Democratic Party, and that is that the far left is significantly more powerful than they once were. This sort of gives the game away here. Democrats who identify as very liberal or conservative. You know, there used to be a lot of conservative Democrats, right? Back in 1999, 26% of Democrats self-identified as conservative. Just 5% said that they were very liberal. It was
I'll talk to you guys later.
a smidgen. Now that far left has gained considerably in power. Look at this. Now we're talking about a fifth of Democrats, 21% say they're very liberal. That conservative part of the Democratic Party, adios amigos, goodbye, just 8%. And when you combine the 21% who are very liberal with those who say that they're somewhat liberal, we're talking about 3 in 5 Democrats who identify as either somewhat liberal or.
Yeah, you can have the last word. I'm not going to run the whole clip, but you can have the last word.
I should have let him finish because I don't know what he was saying. But I was just
going
going
to
to say, can you just rewind it like 2 seconds?
And when you combine the 21% who are very liberal with those who say that they're somewhat liberal, we're talking about 3 in 5 Democrats who identify as either somewhat liberal or very liberal.
It's kind of a funny way to frame it if you combine that with the ones that say they're somewhat liberal. Well, somewhat liberal would be moderates. So if 20% plus those ones equal 3/5, that's what, 60%? So that means that 40% say they're somewhat liberal. Well, that's 61, 69, so that leaves 31%. So that means that 31% are saying that they're somewhat conservative or very conservative or something. I mean, I don't know. But point being is that the majority of the Democrat Party still would identify as them to fall into that moderate range. And that's all I was going to say at that. Like, yeah, the party can have more extremist, more extreme or more left people in it now on the far, like the 20% or whatever, like that wing. 20% of the party can be very, very left and very extreme or whatever. But that still leaves 80% of the rest of the party that's not.
Like I said, I'm going to let you have the last word on that. I let CNN speak for me. We said what we said. But I do appreciate you coming up here and doing some little intellectual jousting. It's been fun. I appreciate you. Anytime you want to come back, by the way.
Yeah, y'all have a good day. Be safe.
Thank you. You as well, man. Enjoy your haircut. Come out looking spiffy, bro. We're gonna wrap this one up right here. Like I said, I'm going to let him keep the last word on that. CNN spoke for me. CNN said everything I needed to say in that last round. I appreciate all you guys coming up. Nardito, you are still up here. Any closing thoughts you want to hit us with before we get out of here? Mic check. My man must have dropped off somewhere. Yeah, we're going to wrap this one up, though. Appreciate you guys coming through today. I like having political debate. I like people who come up and violently cling to their political positions, and then we can have it out respectfully and politely. AR did just that. I really enjoyed that whole segment. Whether or not I agree, whether or not I think he's crazy. Actually, I don't. I just think he's wrong. But it was interesting. It was fun. And I kind of live for these little moments. So appreciate you guys coming through. Thank you so much for hitting that like button today. Shout out to everybody participating from the audience. SKC Lasers came through with the last super chat with the $2. Thank y'all so much for supporting the stream today, man. We're going to wrap this one up, though.
It costs a lot of money to bring the real. And with this, I dress myself in cashmere. I dress myself in $100 Cleveland flag.
You guys have a great day. Pray for Jasmine. I hope she doesn't harm herself after such a terrible loss. Pray for Jasmine. Hope she keeps her spirits up. You know, losing to a mediocre white boy like that has to be like, you know, it's just like a kick right in the ovaries. You know what I mean? So, thoughts and prayers for Jasmine Crockett. Thank you guys so much for coming out to another episode. I will catch you all later. You have a great one.
Aspiring to be patriarchs like what white men have, that isn't freedom.
That isn't going to help anybody. It's certainly not going to help Black people.
It's done. It's done. It's done. It's done. It's done.